Days where everything you say to yourself is positive, encouraging, and full of love for yourself. For 3 days, don't give yourself negative feedback, worries, or limits. Instead, say positive things to yourself that will boost your confidence. Are you brave enough to try? The things you say to yourself over the next 3 days will change your mind, you, and most importantly, your life. This is because when you talk positively to yourself, you invite wealth, success, and peace of mind. Here is the task that will make you think better. Read all the way to the end if you want to see how your life can change in a big way. The change starts today with what you say to yourself. Just before we start, I want you to make a promise to change. Write in the comments, "Today I become my best self." Your first statement, the first step toward a new life and a new mindset, will be, "I am stoic." That statement is more than just words. It's a promise to help you grow and change. Get it, and get ready for a big change in your life. First, change starts with focusing on one thing for 3 days straight. Focusing on one thing at a time is what it takes to change. You need 3 days of deliberate practice to begin the process of altering your mindset and reprogramming your brain. It's not just a matter of wanting something, it's a firm belief that you can control your future. Epictetus said that growth is caused by hard work and self-discipline, not by chance. And if you think about what you really want for 30 days, you will set yourself up for real change. In the morning, afternoon, and evening, the brain is most open to new ideas. These times are not random. They are organic windows when the brain and nerves are more open to taking in information. As soon as you wake up in the morning, your mind is less alert to outside stimuli and more open to change. The link between thought and behavior is stronger in the afternoon, when the body is moving. Before going to sleep at night, your brain goes into a deep state of thought, where what you think is more deeply etched in your memory. Marcus Aurelius did this every night when he meditated, thinking about the day that had passed and getting ready for the next one. Affirmations will stick in your brain better if you say them over and over at these important times. It's not just about words, it's also about how strongly you feel. "I am disciplined" is not enough to just say. You have to feel it, see it, and live it with conviction. The Stoics didn't just talk about being good, they also lived it. Repeating something to yourself over and over again is the best way to turn a thought into a belief and then into reality. When you wake up, put your hand on your heart and say mantras that support the identity you want. Focus on building what you want instead of what you don't want. Instead of "I want to be more disciplined," say "I am disciplined." Also, instead of "I want to be more confident," say "I fully trust myself." Your brain doesn't know the difference between true and false thoughts. In other words, the more you think about and believe these mantras, the faster they will happen in your life. Seneca said that luck is what happens when you are ready and the chance comes along. And the way you think in the afternoon is the first step in being ready. Moving your body can help you remember your mantras. Take a strong walk, take deep breaths, and feel the energy of change in your body. Don't just say the mantras over and over. Connect them to what you're doing. The Stoics knew that actions, not words, show how good someone is. You are building your personality with each step you take, each choice you make, and each moment you decide to act instead of putting it off. You are what you do over and over again, not what you say you are. Before you go to sleep, think about what you did well today and make a list of mantras for the next day. Don't let fears and bad thoughts take over your mind. The last things you think before you go to sleep are processed while you sleep, and they can affect how you feel when you wake up. Every night, Marcus Aurelius thought about what he could do better the next day, and got ready to face it with more knowledge. There will be a gradual change in your attention and mindset as you follow this concept. Focusing on one thing for 3 days is enough to make a real difference. This isn't because it's magic, but because doing something on purpose over and over again turns into a habit. And once a habit is formed, it's impossible to change it. Epictetus said that being good is not something you do, it's something you do. You will start to change into the person you want to be if you take charge of your thoughts and think about what you want. It's not just a short task, it's the start of a new mindset, so don't undervalue the power of these 3 days. Don't wait until you feel ready to start. If you say something enough times, your brain will believe it. Don't let doubts cross your thoughts. Your life is made up of the ideas you feed it every day. If you change your mind, things in your life will start to change too. Second, the way you talk to yourself affects your world. The person who makes your world is the voice in your head. Each thought you have over and over again is a brick in the building of your life. Your daily life will represent the questions, complaints, and excuses that you talk to yourself about all the time. You will start to change how you act and how you see the world if you learn to talk to yourself with purpose and focus. Marcus Aurelius was dead on when he said that the quality of our thoughts determines the quality of our lives. You can't expect to be great if you keep telling yourself bad things. Your body has a biological response for every thought you have. It's true that what you think affects how you feel, which in turn affects what you do. If you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, your brain will keep telling you that until it becomes true. The mind wants to be reassured of what it thinks, and if you give it negative thoughts, they will shape everything you do. Epictetus said that what happens to us doesn't affect us, but how we think about it. Each problem will mean you can't do it if you see it that way. You will give up before you even try. The power of self-talk shows up in everyday life. When you wake up in the morning and think, "Today is going to be a hard day," your brain will start to work on worry before anything really bad happens. Your mood will drop, your body will tense up, and you won't be able to concentrate as well. It's not magic, it's just the way our minds work. Your mind plans for what it expects to happen, but the opposite way sees the same thing happen. When you wake up, telling yourself, "Today is a day full of opportunities," will make your brain start to feel better. You'll be more open and sure of yourself when you act. The Stoics lived by this rule every day. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations to keep his theory strong and to remember himself of how he wanted to live his life. He didn't let his thoughts just happen. He was in charge of his story. Change the way you talk to yourself too. Don't let your natural thoughts decide how you feel. Every bad thought should be questioned. Ask yourself, is this really true, or is it just a fleeting impression? Most of the time you'll find that it's just a habit. It's not a fact that can't be changed. You need to train your mind to guide you instead of letting it guide you. Saying mantras isn't enough. You have to feel them and believe them. You will start to act in the way you want to act if you tell yourself every day, "I am ready for success. I face every challenge with determination. My mind is strong and resilient." You should not let your thoughts make you weak. Instead, they should be your strongest tool. Seneca said that a mind that tortures itself is the worst thing that can happen. Do not let yours do it. When you're stuck, don't tell yourself, "I can't do this." Instead, tell yourself, "I can learn to do this." If you fail at something, don't say, "I failed." Say, "This is a lesson for me to get better." A small change in words can make a big difference in getting things done. The talk you have with yourself can either be your biggest problem or your biggest asset. It's up to you to use it to help yourself or hurt yourself. Thoughts are more than just thoughts. They are commands that your brain follows. You can tell it to be weak, and it will react by being afraid. If you tell it to be sure of itself and determined, it will do what you say. You can't keep talking to yourself in ways that hold you back. Talk to yourself like you would a friend or family member you want to do well. Your best teacher, guide, and driver will be yourself. Every day you can choose how to talk to yourself, and that choice will affect the rest of your life. You can't change the things that happen around you, but you can change the story that you tell yourself. And as you do that, you will slowly change not only the way you think, but also the way you live.
Third, your brain can't tell the difference between thought and fact.
Your brain can't tell the difference between what you think is happening and what is really happening. It says that thoughts are not just ideas. They are events that can have the same effect on your body and feelings as real events. If you keep picturing failing, being afraid, or being limited, your mind will react as if you were actually going through them, which can cause stress and worry. You can train your brain to be successful, disciplined, and strong, and it will start to act like you already have those traits. They knew this well when they said, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." If you can control what you think, you can control your future. Neuroscience research has shown that the same parts of the brain are active when you imagine something and when you actually have it happen. It's the truth, not just a figure of speech. Your body will react the same way, as if you were really experiencing something if you imagine it in enough depth. This is why having thoughts of fear or doubt can make you sweat, tense up your muscles, or even become paralyzed. Your brain is making you think that the danger is real, even though it isn't. According to Epictetus, what bothers people is not what happens to them, but what they think about it. Their thought process is how they understand reality. For decades, Olympic athletes have used this idea to their advantage. It has been shown that they can improve their performance just by picturing their practice very clearly, without moving. They train the same neural processes in their brains as if they were really fighting. They're not fooling themselves. They're getting their mind and body ready to do a great job when the time comes. This is true in every part of life. Because you see yourself as focused, strong, and effective, you will start to act in ways that match that image. If you think of yourself as weak or unable, on the other hand, your brain will support that idea. Getting your mind in shape is just as important as getting your body in shape. It's not enough to just tell yourself you want to change. You have to really picture what you want to happen. It's not enough to just think about being successful. You have to feel it and live it in your head as clearly as possible. Think about how someone who is disciplined acts if you want to become more disciplined. Imagine yourself meeting your fear with courage. This will help you get over it. It's not just a hobby. It's a way to change the way you think and react to things in life. Spend a few minutes every day before everything else comes along, picturing yourself reaching your goal. This time, make it real, not just a wish. Picture how you feel, what you're doing, and how you act when you're sure of yourself. Feel the joy of having reached that point. Mind will start to connect your ideas and actions with the picture if you train it to see them as real. You have power over your mind, not over outside events, Marcus Aurelius said. When you understand this, you will become strong. This strength starts with the way you think. It's not about making up more lies or dreams. It's about training your mind. Your brain will follow the instructions you give it if you think about winning and getting better at things. You will train your mind to fail before you even try, if you let fear, doubt, and bad thoughts take over your thoughts. Seneca said that we suffer more in our minds than in real life. This is true, because many times what stops us from moving is our fear of failing, not actually failing. You can alter the way you live if you can alter the way you think. Before the world does it for you, take charge of your mind. Change how you see yourself first if you want to change your life. Think about your success. Imagine the life you want before it comes true. That way, when it's time to act, your brain will be ready to do what it has been practicing. People who are able to prepare their minds for success before it happens are the ones who get what they want. It's not luck or skill that makes the difference. 4. Most people live their lives without thinking about it. The majority of people go through life automatically, thinking and acting in the same ways over and over again, and getting the same outcomes. They don't understand that their life doesn't change because their mind is still stuck in the same bad habits. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. If you think, feel, and act the same way every day, your future will be the same as your past. If you want to change, you have to change the way you think." Every day, people have between 60,000 and 70,000 thoughts. It's scary that 90% of those feelings are the same ones we had yesterday. Repetition makes a character that is hard to change. It's like telling ourselves a story over and over again and thinking it to be true. But Epictetus showed us that what matters is not what happens to us, but how we think about it. But if you always see things the same way and believe the same things, you will get stuck in a small form of yourself. If someone tells themselves over and over, "I'm not good at business," every choice they make will support that view. They will stay away from risks and chances, and they will hang out with people who support their story. Their life will not be determined by fate, but by what they think about it. The mind wants things to make sense, and if you think something about yourself, it will do everything it can to back it up. It's the same in every other part of life. You will act in a way that shows you are not controlled if you tell yourself that. If you tell yourself, "I can't speak in public," you will be scared every time you have the chance to do it. Not because it is an absolute truth, but because you have grown to believe it over time. The important thing is to recognize these repeated thoughts and choose to have something else instead. You have to take apart the stories you've told yourself if you want to change. When you have a thought that holds you back, question it. Is this really true, or is it just an idea that I've told myself so many times that I think it's true? Most of the time, you'll find that besides habit, there's no real reason to hold on to that idea. The things you think affect the things that happen to you, because your brain doesn't tell the difference between the two. You can start to think that you are dedicated even if you don't believe it at first. Your mind will start to act in line with your words over time. It is not magic, it is real science. Stoics knew that controlling your thoughts is the first step to being self-disciplined. Seneca said, "It's not that we don't have enough time, but that we waste a lot of it." Letting thoughts that don't lead you anywhere waste your time is the worst thing you can do. You have been letting your mind run on autopilot for years, so it's not easy to take control of it. Instead of having your mind roam, pick a thought and think about it. This gives you back control over your life. You shouldn't force yourself to think happily for no reason. Instead, you should train yourself to know which thoughts make you stronger and which ones make you weaker. If you tell yourself, "This is too hard," every time you think about a problem, your brain will give up before you even try. But if you think, "How can I fix this?" you make a totally different reaction happen. If you want to change your life, you have to first change the way you think. If you keep telling your mind the same old things every day, you can't expect different results. The first step in changing is to train your mind. Marcus Aurelius put this idea into practice by writing down his thoughts every morning. This helped him remember that he could choose a different way of thinking. Fifth, the way you believe shapes your future. People build their lives around what they believe about themselves, not because it's true, but because their minds are set up to act in that way. Thoughts that are limiting are just thoughts that are repeated over and over again until they become routine. People aren't upset by events, Epictetus said, but by how they think about them. When you see a challenge as an impossible test, it will stop you. But when you see it as a chance to learn, your mind will come up with answers instead of excuses. There is more than one way for the brain to think. Neuroplasticity is the idea that the shape of the brain changes as we strengthen new links between neurons. In other words, each time you choose a different thought, your mind changes physically. When Marcus Aurelius wrote his thoughts, he followed this rule by repeating ideas that made him a better person and helped him be more self-disciplined. It wasn't an accident, it was training for the mind. When you think positive thoughts about growth, you're setting up your life to follow those ideas. If someone has told themselves for years, "I'm bad with money," that idea has become a part of who they are. Because of this, they won't spend money on education. They'll turn down chances, and they'll make choices that support their story. It's not that fate has doomed him to lack. It's that his mind has kept him stuck in a pattern of hurting himself. It's the same in every other part of life. If you tell yourself, "I'm not disciplined," you won't follow through with what you say. You will avoid events that will help you get better at talking if you say, "I'm not good at that." The key is to change your views on purpose. It's not about telling yourself lies. It's about picking thoughts that help you instead of ones that hold you back. Say, "I'm learning how to handle my money with intelligence and clarity," instead of, "I'm not good with money." It might sound forced at first, but your brain will start to believe the new story after a while. As long as you live, keep learning to live, said Seneca. You are not stuck in a form of yourself that doesn't change. Every day you can start over. Wanting to change doesn't really make it happen. You have to be deliberate and keep at it. Your brain's nerve pathways get stronger with each thought you have. If you keep thinking about growth ideas, they will become a part of who you are over time. A mind that is taught for stability is what gives you self-discipline, not something you are born with. Self-confidence is not a gift. It comes from thinking things that make you feel good about yourself. Who you are tomorrow will depend on what you think today. In order to shape the mind, the Stoics knew that it needed the same kind of hard work as the body. You don't trust your physical health, so why trust your mental health to thoughts that come to you on their own? Epictetus said that no one is free unless they are their own master. To be your own master, you must first understand your own story. Old ideas will keep you stuck in a loop of mediocrity if you let them run your life. However, if you decide which thoughts to let in, you will be able to shape your future in a way that fits with what you want. Programming your mind is a constant process. You can't just change an opinion once. You have to keep it strong with everything you do. If you say, "I am disciplined," then you have to act like it. You can't just say, "I can learn." You have to do things that make you learn. Those who reach their goals are not lucky. Those who get stuck are. The difference is in the thoughts they feed themselves. Before the world does it for you, take charge of your mental training. Don't keep thinking bad things just because you've always thought them. Every day is a chance to form new ideas and a way of thinking that moves you forward instead of keeping you back. You are not trapped by your past. You are building your future. In the end, what you think, what you support, and what you choose to believe make you who you are. The sixth thing is the role of mornings in change. The first words you say when you wake up are not just sounds. They tell your mind what to do. Your brain hasn't been distracted yet in the early morning. It's in a state called receptive, where it can take in what you say as if it were a blank painting. In his book, Meditations, Marcus Aurelius said that every day is a new chance to live a good life and act with strength and purpose. But if the first thing you do when you wake up is complain, your mind is already set up to think about the bad things. The Stoics were right when they said that the mind is more open to new ideas when it first wakes up. The brain cleans and reorganizes itself while we sleep, and when we wake up, its pathways are ready to be trained. People will pay more attention to what you think and say at those times than any other. If you tell your mind right away, "Today will be a hard day," it will start looking for proof of that statement. You can train your brain to focus on answers, chances, and growth, though, by telling yourself, "Today is a day full of possibilities." Life is not about what happens, but how we see it. That's what the Stoics knew. You will have a defeatist attitude all day if you wake up with that attitude. But if you wake up with the mindset that you can do anything, even problems will be opportunities to grow. Epictetus said that how you react to things is more important than what they happen to you, and your reaction starts with the words you say when you wake up. These messages are also picked up by the body. When you wake up and say, "I'm ready for this day," your body changes, your breathing gets stronger, and your mind starts to work. But if you sigh and say, "Another day," your mood drops, your muscles lock up, and everything seems farther away than it really is. How you talk to yourself shows how you deal with life. Every morning, start your day with strong affirmations, not just empty words, but words that set your mind on success and plenty. Seneca said that life is not short, but we waste it worrying about things that don't matter. And setting a good goal at the start of the day is one of the best ways to make the most of life. Don't wait for things to be perfect before you start to think positively. Build the world you want to feel with your words. Today, I will move forward with discipline, you can say to yourself when you wake up. This will boost your will before the problems come up. Saying things like, "Today, I will look for opportunities," will train your brain to see chances you didn't see before. It's not just about being positive, it's about how your mind is set up. Your fate is built on the things you say over and over with confidence. The most important time for change is in the morning. Even though you can't change everything that will happen during the day, you can choose your mindset, and the first words you say are the start of that choice. Marcus Aurelius used his daily writings to keep this principle in mind and tell himself that he could always live a good life, no matter what life threw at him. Do the same thing. Don't use the first thing you say in the morning to complain or make an excuse. Talk with strength, drive, and the belief that every day is a chance to grow into the person you want to become. 7th, every thought has an effect on your body. Each thought is a message sent to your body by chemicals in your brain. They are orders that control how you feel, what you do, and even how your health works. Marcus Aurelius said it best: "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." If you think about problems, stress, and bad things all the time, your body will react as if you were in danger, sending out fear hormones that make you feel tired. But if you train your mind to think about being thankful, being disciplined, and growing, your body will match your inner strength. What the Stoics knew from experience is now backed up by science. These are the stress hormones that your body releases when you think about being scared or anxious. This makes your muscles tense up, speeds up your heart rate, and makes your body alert, as if you were really in danger. The trouble is that the body gets weak when this state lasts for a long time. The mind sees danger everywhere, the defense system gets weaker, and health problems start to show up. Seneca said, "We suffer more in our imagination than in reality." He was right, because most of the time our fears don't come true. But the body hurts like they are real. The hormones of happiness, dopamine and serotonin, are made when you think of things like thanks and strength. These chemicals not only make you feel better, but they also boost your energy, make your defense system stronger, and help you deal with problems better. If you want to be wealthy, Epictetus said, don't get more things. Instead, value what you already have. Being grateful is more than just thinking a good thought. It changes your body's chemistry so that it is more balanced and calm. If someone thinks bad thoughts all the time, their body reacts by making them tired for no reason, giving them headaches all the time, and making their breathing short. It's not an accident. It's the result of a system that is always at odds with itself. You can train your mind to find answers instead of problems and see the good in every day. This will give your body more energy, focus, and endurance. What you choose to think about over and over again makes the difference between a mind that wears you down and one that makes you stronger. Think of 3 things you're thankful for before you go to sleep. Just think about the good things in your life. It doesn't have to be a big deal. A talk, a small step toward your goals, or just being healthy could be what you need. This habit not only calms your mind, but it also gets your body ready for a good night's sleep by releasing hormones that make you feel good. Marcus Aurelius wrote about his day every night, not to complain, but to think about himself and get stronger. If you follow this rule, you will notice that your body and mind start to change. You have the most powerful tool in the world, but you have to learn how to use it well. Avoid letting fear and worry take over your thoughts. Stop and change the story every time you feel anxious. Does this thought make me stronger or weaker? Change it for one that will help if the first one doesn't. You don't have to ignore truth. You just have to train your brain to react with knowledge instead of fear. The mind tells the body what to do. Your energy will rise if you think thoughts of power. Your body will keep itself in balance if you train yourself to be thankful. You will have taken a big step toward becoming the best version of yourself if you learn to control your thoughts instead of running with them. Don't let your mind make you weak. Instead, use its power to change you. Getting rid of the past is the 8th thing that leads to change. When you break with the past, you make real change. Building a new world is impossible if you hold on to old feelings, ideas, and habits that don't help you. Marcus Aurelius said, "If something outside of you hurts you, it's not that thing that bothers you. It's your judgment about it. and you have the power to change that judgment right now. To change your life, you don't have to change what happened. You have to change how you feel about it. Carrying around the weight of past mistakes will make you go through the same loop over and over again. The brain can be shaped and is always changing, but only if you give it new thoughts and events. Holding on to the past makes the same brain link stronger and trains your mind to live in a loop. Neuroscience has shown that when you remember something, the same parts of your brain that first noticed it get active and stronger. This means that whenever you think about or feel a loss, failure, or betrayal, you are making it stronger in your mind and body. Epictetus said that we can't change the things that happen to us, but we can change how we think about them. If you think of the past as something that weighs you down, your mind will use it as a rock to hold you down. If someone thinks about a broken love relationship over and over, their mind is still set up to feel pain. There will always be a part of their brains ready for the same story to happen again, no matter how many new chances come up. They will attract relationships that are difficult for them, see signs of betrayal where there are none, and be suspicious of everything. The reason is not that the present is the same as the past, but that your mind keeps running on the same programs, which makes what you fear come true. Mind discipline is the act of letting go of the past. You don't have to ignore it or act like it never happened. You just have to decide that it will no longer affect you. Say to yourself, I choose to free myself from the past and create a new reality every time a bad memory comes back to you. Don't just think of it as a statement. See it as a promise. That's why you need to think and act in ways that are in line with the life you want to build, in order to give your mind new instructions. Stoicism tells us that what makes us strong is not what we've been through, but what we choose to do with it. It is not what happens to us that affects us, but how we interpret it, said Seneca. If you see the past as a jail, you will stay stuck in it. But if you see it as a lesson that has already been learned, you can leave it behind and move on. You are not your mistakes, your flaws, or the hurts that other people caused you. From now on, you are what you choose to be. You can only act in the present. You miss out on the chance of what could be if you stay stuck in what was. Think about what you can do and what you have right now. Stop telling the same parts of the story over and over if you want to change it. Today is a new day, but you will never write anything new if you only read the same words over and over. Transformation is not a one-time thing. It's a choice that you make all the time. Do not let the past pull you back. Always tell yourself that you can let go. Be aware and choose to stay in the moment every time a thought brings up an old hurt. Life isn't holding you back. You're the one who has you tied down. Let go and choose to move forward. When you stop looking back, the way forward becomes better. Now I'll give you some examples of words you can use every day that will make a difference in your life. Watch the video below to see how simple daily mantras can change the way you think and feel. 9. I am in charge of my feelings. Feelings are normal for everyone, but how we choose to deal with them is what really shapes our lives. This is at the heart of the Stoic philosophy, which says that our feelings should not control us, but rather rule us. During hard times, no one can help but feel annoyed, sad, or angry. What we can change is how we respond. Stoicism tells us to pay attention to our feelings, name them, and know that they don't have to run our lives. The truth is that we are the ones who can choose how to respond. This Stoic message is backed up by science. Being able to notice, understand, and control your feelings is a part of emotional intelligence. being emotionally intelligent is linked to being more resilient and successful in life. People with high emotional intelligence are more flexible and better able to deal with stress. As a result, they do better in their relationships and reach their goals. We can get better at staying calm and clear-headed even when things are really tough if we practice emotional self-regulation all the time. Imagine that someone is having a tough time at work. They might have had a fight with a coworker, or an important project has run into trouble. That person might act quickly if they don't learn to control their emotions and let their anger or rage cloud their thinking. However, if that person can notice their feelings without getting caught up in them, they will be able to step back and decide what to do. This is what the Stoics mean by living in line with reason. The key to keeping our inner peace is not letting our feelings get the best of us, and instead making smart decisions. To get there, you have to keep practicing. Meditation and taking deep breaths are two of the best ways to improve our ability to control our feelings, because they calm the mind and help us focus on what's important. These techniques help us deal with strong feelings more quickly. For example, deep breathing turns on the parasympathetic nervous system. This system calms down the fight or flight reaction when you're stressed. By doing it often, we can get better at staying calm and handling things calmly no matter what. Meditation, on the other hand, trains our brains to pay more attention to the feelings and thoughts that come up for us. Instead of identifying with them, it teaches us to see them as temporary events that we can watch without responding. By getting better at being thoughtful, we can handle our feelings with more understanding and balance. Not only does it help us control our feelings better, but it also lowers our stress and makes us healthier generally. Keep in mind that you have the power to choose how to react every time you feel strongly about something. Do not let an emotional response carry you away. Instead, take a step back and breathe deeply. Pay attention to and accept your feelings, but don't let them run your life. If you do this every day, you will notice that your ability to deal with tough feelings gets better over time. Being able to handle your feelings is a sign of personal freedom. Don't let other people or events decide how you feel. You are the only one who can choose what to do. Number 10. I'm strong enough to get through anything. Getting stuck is not the end of the road. It's a sign that you are making progress. You can give up every time life hits you, or you can get tougher. Stoicism also teaches us that we are made of an unbreakable force that can weather any storm. It doesn't matter how hard the task is, how you choose to face it is what's important. To grow, you need to learn how to use pain and failure as tools, not how to avoid them. Science backs it up. The psychology of resilience shows that people who go through hard times and get through them stronger mentally and adaptably. People who fail often are the ones who get better, not those who never fail. Your brain changes so that it can handle problems better in the future when you face an issue and choose to deal with it instead of running away. Every problem you solve supports the idea that you can do it, that you can handle more than you thought, and that you have a power inside you that only comes out in tough times. Imagine someone who loses their job out of the blue. At first, they are scared, unsure, and even hopeless, but they don't stay still. Instead, they decide to do something. They start to look for new chances, learn new skills, and change how they do things to fit the new circumstances. The journey goes on, and he finds a new way. He also learns that he is stronger than he thought. He's not afraid of change or the unknown as much, now that he has proven he can handle them and succeed. What seemed like a problem at first turned out to be the thing that made him stronger, more confident, and better prepared for the future. The Stoics knew that what causes us to suffer is not what happens, but how we think about it. If you see a barrier as a limit, it's only a problem. But if you see it as a chance to learn, it will be your best teacher. Things that go wrong in your life are not unfair. They are important for you to find out what your true potential is. If not for them, you would never know what you can do. Do not let fear or anger stop you when you are faced with a task. Don't ask yourself, "Why is this happening to me? What can I learn from this?" Use every problem as a chance to train your mind. Being resilient isn't built on ease. It's built on hardship. When you face a problem head-on, you get stronger, smarter, and better ready for the next thing that comes up. Every time you feel like things are too hard, tell yourself over and over, "I have the strength to overcome every obstacle." Don't just say it, believe it, over and over again. Since it is, you have been through hard times and made it through things that seemed impossible at the time. Now you are stronger than you were before. We have no reason to believe that this time will be any different. As hard things get, remember that you are stronger. Life won't be easy. It's not going to be. But that doesn't matter. You are strong, and each test will make you even stronger. Don't let your losses define you. Instead, look at how you get back up after each one. That's how the unconquerable are made. 11th, I deserve to be successful and happy. Happiness and success are not special rights that only a few people have. They are rights that everyone has. Nothing in the world can stop you from having the best life possible. Some people are born to be successful, while others have to settle for less. This is not a secret rule. We have been led astray by this lie, and it is time to break through that mental wall. You deserve happiness and success just as much as everyone else. Believing in yourself is what makes the difference between people who succeed and those who fail. Positive psychology has shown that when someone thinks they deserve the best, their mental health gets better, their confidence grows, and they act in ways that support that belief. It is not magic. It is real science. The things that feed the mind, change it. In your mind, you will ruin your own chances of success if you think you don't deserve them. But if you firmly believe every day that you deserve happiness and success, your brain will start to work with that new reality. Small steps by small, that belief will turn into reality as you make different choices, seize better chances, and act with more confidence. Think of someone who has had doubts about their own worth for a long time. Maybe they've heard their whole lives that they aren't good enough, that they don't have what it takes to succeed, or that happiness is hard to find. But one day, they choose to change the story. They keep telling themselves, "I deserve to be happy and successful." At first, it's hard for them to believe, but they don't stop. His behavior starts to change over time. He walks with more confidence, looks for better chances, and takes risks he wouldn't have before. Most importantly, he stops taking less than he deserves. It's like the right people and chances keep coming into his life. He has changed his mindset, not the world. Things start to react to him with the same energy he gives off. Stoics taught that happiness and success are not determined by outside forces, but by how we think and what we do. We don't need luck to succeed. We just need to plan ahead, keep at it, and have faith in our own worth. It's easy to act like you don't deserve something if you think that way. You'll settle for less, avoid taking risks, and let other people make decisions for you. You stop accepting for less when you really believe that you deserve the best. You take care of your life and don't wait for things to change. You make them happen. Say to yourself every day, I deserve to be happy and successful. This is not a phrase, it's a truth. It's your right. You don't need anyone else to agree with you or a reason from outside sources. But you can only use that right if you do what it says. You have to live it, not just say it. Don't do things that hurt you if you know you deserve to be happy. You should stop putting things off and start working toward your goals right away if you know you deserve them. It's easy to say you want to change, but you'll really have changed when your deeds match what you believe. Do not wait for other people to approve of your happiness or success before you feel like you have achieved something. No one will come along and tell you how valuable you are if you don't already know it. It happens inside you, and your life will start to change once you truly understand that you deserve the best. You have chosen to take back what has always been yours, not because luck has suddenly turned your way. I can do great things. That's number 12. Your talent is just waiting to be found. It's not about luck or outside events. It's about how you choose to deal with things. Being brave enough to believe in yourself will help you reach all of your goals. Being sure of your own skills is not vanity. It's what you will use to build your future. You have already put up a wall before you even start if you doubt yourself. You are changing your mind to act in line with your belief when you say with confidence, I am capable of achieving great things. Neuroscience has shown that the things we believe have a direct effect on our bodies. When you believe in yourself, the brain links that help you act and keep going get stronger. It's not magic. It's just how your brain changes based on the things you think every day. Your brain will keep telling you that you can't do something if you think you are useless. This will make you act with fear and doubt. But if you keep telling yourself that you can do it, your brain will make new links that will help you make decisions with more confidence and drive. Think about someone who tells themselves every day, I can do great things. At first, he might not believe it, but over time, it becomes a truth for him. He starts to walk and talk with more confidence, take risks he never would have before, and most importantly, he starts to act in line with what he thinks. He gets closer to his goals with every choice he makes and every action he takes with confidence. He has changed how he sees the world, not because the world has changed. Stoicism tells us that we can't change the world, but we can change how we respond to it. The way we think is the first line of defense. You can't let fear and bad thoughts take over your mind. It needs to be trained like a muscle. The key is repetition. Every morning, look at yourself in the mirror and say out loud, I am capable of achieving great things. Don't just say it for the sake of saying it. Mean it. It's okay if you find it hard to believe at first. Telling yourself over and over will make it real. And then act like you really believe it when you're out in public. This doesn't mean things will be easy or that you'll be successful right away. There will be problems, setbacks, and times when you question yourself. People who do big things, on the other hand, don't give up. They keep going, no matter what. They don't wait for the right time or look for reasons not to do something. They just keep going because they are sure they can do it. They keep going when other people give up because they believe in themselves. It's not about tricking yourself with empty thoughts. It's about picking the thoughts that will shape your life. If you put question seeds in your mind, fears and limits will grow. But if you think positive things about yourself and your goals, you will achieve them and be happy with your results. You can choose every day what kinds of thoughts to feed your mind, and that choice will determine what you can accomplish. There is no end to what you can do if you choose to use your ability. You don't need anyone's okay to do great things. You just have to decide to do them and then do them. Keep believing in yourself, because everything you want is just around the corner. 13. I'm thankful for all the good things in my life. You already have everything you need to be happy. You won't feel that way when you reach your goal or get what you think you're missing. You can see it right now, but you won't until you learn to value it. Being grateful is not the same as being a conformist, and it doesn't mean you shouldn't want more. It means seeing how valuable the things you already have are. People who are always looking for what they don't have will never be happy with what they do have. If you can't be grateful for what you have now, you won't be able to be grateful when you achieve more. Several psychological studies have shown that practicing thanks every day is good for your mental health, lowers stress, and boosts your sense of well-being. It's not enough to just feel good. You need to train your brain to think positively all the time. Getting used to finding the good in your life changes your attitude and makes you stronger when going through tough times. Thanksgiving turns life from a constant fight into a gift, which changes how you experience it. Imagine someone who always finds time to say thank you, even when things are hard. They do it not because their lives are perfect, but because they know there is always something good in the world. Their health, the people in their lives, the chances they've had, and the lessons they've learned make them thankful. By doing that, their point of view changes. They start to see everything they already have instead of what they don't have. That gives them the strength to move on and make it through hard times with a different outlook. Being thankful doesn't change the truth, but it does change how you live your life. The Stoics knew this better than anyone else. For them, what made someone happy wasn't what they had, but how they saw them. You don't need to get more stuff. You just need to learn to value what you already have. You can be happy with very little or with everything, and still feel empty. What makes a difference is not the situation, but how you think about it. Every day, people who can be thankful, even when things are bad, find a reason to keep going. Being thankful makes you see the good in things when other people only see the bad. Be thankful all the time. Every day you should think about the good things in your life. Every morning or night, take a moment to list 3 things you're thankful for. If you can, write them down. Not big things have to be important. A friend who was there for you, a small accomplishment during the day, or just having a roof over your head could be enough. The most important thing is not how much you are thankful for, but that you are thankful. Because being thankful makes you more aware of how lucky you are. If you want to be thankful, don't wait until everything is great. Instead, be thankful for what you already have. Being thankful is what makes you successful, not the effect of it. You start to get more good things in your life when you learn to value what you already have. Because your mindset changes, not because the world rewards you in a magical way, you start to see chances where you used to see issues. You start to feel different, and your attitude changes in a way that inspires other people and gives you more confidence to move forward. Today, be thankful for what you have and where you are. It's not that life is perfect, but because there is always something to be thankful for. And when you start to see the world with thanks, everything else starts to change. Life is valuable. That's number 14. Because life is limited, it is very valuable. As time went on, it would lose its value. It wouldn't be important or necessary to do anything important if we had all the time in the world. But because we only have so much time, each moment is important. The Stoics knew this very well, which is why they didn't fear death, but instead saw it as a sign to live a meaningful life. Memento mori, which means remember that you are going to die, is not a scary thought. It's a call to enjoy every moment, not waste life on pointless things. and not let fear or other things take away the time we can never get back. This idea is supported by modern science. Research has shown that people make better choices when they think about their own deaths. They keep their attention on what's important, their beliefs, their relationships, and their mission. When we know that time is running out, we stop putting things off and stop living like we have forever to live. We learn that every day is a gift and that squandering it is an act of not being thankful. Being aware of death makes us more awake. It wakes us up from the slumber of daily life and forces us to act. You make better choices when you know that time is running out. You don't hold on to things you can't change, worry about meaningless things, or waste time arguing about things that don't matter. You start to value the important things more, like a genuine talk, a smile, a morning, the sound of the wind, and the little things that were always there, but you didn't notice before. Because you truly enjoy this moment when you know that it will not happen again. There is less hurry, less stress, and life is fuller and deeper. They talked about the art of life. Being alive isn't enough. You have to live well, with virtue, purpose, and thanks. About not letting your feelings, your situation, or the past control you. Getting the idea that life doesn't owe us anything, but we do owe it the promise to make the most of it. Not from stress, but from being aware of it, from the peace that comes from knowing that every day is a gift that won't come back, and that every moment is a chance to love, learn, grow, and be better. Being aware is important for all of this. Being truly present in every moment and not getting stuck in the past or being afraid of what the future holds. The present moment is where life takes place. Your mind gets lost in worries that aren't important, and every time you get sidetracked, you lose something that will never come back. If you really look, feel, and listen, you'll see that life has never been normal. It's always been amazing. We just haven't learned to see it that way. Life is more than just work, responsibilities, and plans for the future. It's not always true that when I have this, I will be happy. Life is the coffee you're drinking right now, the sound of someone you love laughing, the sun on your skin, the fresh air in the morning, and a genuine talk. To be happy, you can't go somewhere else, do something else, or wait for something else to happen. It's right now here. You have to stop, breathe, and open your eyes to see it though. Stoics told us to pay attention to what we can change instead of thinking about things we can't. The only thing we can change is how we feel about life. We get to choose how we want to live our lives, with thanks or complaints, focus or distraction, a plan or just letting things happen on their own. We always have a choice. It's a lot more beautiful in life when you really understand that every day is a gift that will never come again. Number 15. I bring good energy and chances to myself. What you draw to you depends on how you think and act. If you think about what's wrong, what's missing, or what could have gone better, you will always get more of the same. However, if you keep a positive mindset, choose to see the bright side, and act with drive, you will start to see possibilities. It's not about magic or anything mysterious. It's about how the mind works. What you think about changes what you experience. The Stoics knew this a long time ago. Things that happen don't affect us. How we think about them does. You can change your life if you change the way you look at things. Scientists have proven that having a good mood can really change your health and the chances you get. Positive psychology looks into how having hope and an open mind can make your life better, lower your stress, and make it easier to adjust. You start to see more answers than problems when you train your mind to think about the good things. Opportunities that didn't seem possible before become clear all of a sudden. The truth is that they were there, but your mind wasn't ready to see them. How people see you is affected by the energy you give off. A person with a good mood and lots of confidence will always get better relationships, and more doors will open for them. Consider this. In the face of difficulty, someone who keeps an open and positive mindset is more likely to find answers. Imagine you're having a casual chat and not expecting anything in particular. The other person brings up a chance that you weren't even looking for because you seem interested and have a good mood. It could be a business idea, a job offer, or a useful link. There's no magic going on in the world to make this happen for you. It just so happens that your mood makes you more open to connecting with your surroundings and the people in them. The Stoics teach us that we can't change the things that happen to us, but we can change how we handle problems. You can either see it as a problem or a chance to help yourself grow. Your fate depends on how you decide to react. You will feel better mentally and inspire more faith in those around you if you approach problems with a positive mindset. People are affected by the energy you send out, and that energy comes back to you in different ways. You need to train your mind to always see the good in things. This doesn't mean avoiding problems or living in a make-believe world. Realizing the truth, accepting problems, and choosing to deal with them in the best way possible are all parts of this. Being thankful is a strong thing. Your view changes when you think about what you have instead of what you don't have. There are more options than limits when you start to see them. What seemed like an impossible problem at first is now a lesson that makes you stronger. A positive mindset enables you to overcome hurdles with greater clarity and drive. Life is not perfect, and there will always be challenges. What can I learn from this? Is a good question to ask yourself, instead of complaining or getting angry. How can I get better from this trip? You take charge of your life and become someone who not only looks for chances, but also makes them. What affects how far you can go is how you feel every day. Each morning is a fresh chance to choose the energy you want to show. If you choose negativity, everything will look harder and bring you down. Even when things are going badly, there is always something good that can come from being positive. It's something that you get better at. Start by being thankful for something every day, taking on tasks with courage, and hanging out with people who want to grow as well. You'll start to notice changes in your energy, the way things around you react, and the chances that come your way over time. The mindset you decide to adopt is the first step. Let's go deeper. Imagine having complete clarity and control over your feelings, not being affected by the unknowns of life, and being led by a calm and clear mind. Today, we're going to talk about values that will help you find inner peace. When your mind is at peace, your actions are clear and your goals come naturally. Then we'll talk about 10 lessons from Stoicism that can change your life. These are strong ideas that you can use every day to help you systematically reach your objectives. Before you begin, write in the comments, "Today is the start of my best version. I am Stoic." Then, keep an open mind, take in everything that was said, and let this knowledge guide you. Let's begin now that the time has come. Have you ever noticed that life seems to get more out of hand the more you try to control it? In a strange way, we should be resting instead. We're running around trying to tighten every screw. Yes, it sounds contradictory, but that's the key. The real power to get what you want doesn't come from always fighting. It comes from letting yourself be calm, like a lake at peace. In this video, I'll show you how Stoic thought makes this clear. Strength lies in peace. So, I'm going to teach you 10 useful lessons on how to get what you want when your mind is calm. You won't be able to say anything after the last one. It's the key to a world that is so confused and confusing that no matter how hard we fight every day, we never have enough time or air to breathe. Try it out and then tell me what you think. Take a deep breath, let go of the chaos, and let life run. Have you ever seen someone who was stressed live a good life? I don't believe that. If you read what comes next, you'll see how you start to attract what you want so badly without having to work so hard. Step 1. Calm down. You're in the right place, and the thing you want is already on its way. Before you start, though, pay attention to this story. It will help you understand the advice in these pages better. A young woman named Helene lived in a small valley surrounded by hills. In her town, she was famous for being able to attract anything she wanted. And it wasn't luck that gave her this power. It was a deep faith in the power of attraction that wasn't going away. Helene's grandmother taught her that feelings and ideas were like seeds that, when placed in the mind, grew into real things. Every day as they worked in the family garden, her grandmother told her, "What you think and feel, you attract." Helene one day chose to turn the empty land around her house into a yard full of plants and animals. She didn't have the tools or the help to do it, but she sat down on the ground, closed her eyes, and started to picture a field full of bright flowers, juicy fruit hanging from trees, and a stream winding through the middle. Helene took a moment every day to picture how beautiful her garden was. It seemed like it was already there because she could hear, feel, and even smell it. She never gave up hope, even though the ground was still dry and hard. She planted seeds, even though she knew it would take a while for them to grow. She trusted that nature would respond to her energy. At first, the neighbors just looked shocked. "That soil isn't good for growing anything," they said to each other in a low voice. But Helene stayed focused on her goal and didn't pay any attention to the questions that were around her. Strange things started to happen over time. Small plants started to grow, and a stream that had been dry for years started to slowly flow near her house. Helene knew it was all because she had a clear purpose and trust in the power of manifestation. Her neighbors couldn't believe what they saw. In the morning, her yard was in full bloom. There were bright flowers everywhere, sweet smells in the air, lots of fruit on the trees, and a strong, peaceful stream running through it all. Her shocked neighbors came over to see her and asked how she had done something so amazing. Helene answered with a smile. "The power of attraction is not a trick. It's believing with all your heart that what you want is already yours. Feel it, see it, and then let the universe take care of the rest. The garden of your dreams will always grow if you plant the right seeds in your mind and heart." Helene's story became legendary because of this. There was never the same small valley again after that day, because the people who lived there realized that they had the power to make their own world. The lesson of this story is about the power of attraction and manifestation, and how our thoughts, feelings, and actions can make our greatest wishes come true. Let's start the first lesson. If you find these videos helpful, please subscribe and turn on alerts to stay up to date on the latest news. Let's start. The mind's power. Have you ever felt like your mind is like a wild merry-go-round going around and around while you try to find some calm? If so, you're not alone. Most of us have forgotten what it means to just stop and breathe because of how busy life is these days. But here's the trick. The real magic of creation starts when we stop thinking about it and let it go. Isn't that funny? The more we try to find what we want quickly, it seems farther away. When we say mental calm, we're not just talking about the peace you feel after doing yoga or meditating, though those are great places to start. I'm referring to a deep, almost stoic state where your mind can finally focus after the waves of ideas and fears calm down. Think of your mind as a calm lake. Everything is calm and clear on the top, so you can see what you really want. But if that lake is moving, you won't be able to see your image, let alone the things you want to bring into your life. It's not a luxury to be able to relax. It's a must. By letting our minds rest, we can start to talk to our subconscious, which is the part of us that knows our inner desires. Endorphins and other chemicals that help us think more clearly are released when we relax, according to science. This means that you are more open to opportunities and wants that seemed impossible before. Would it not be better to just sit down and take a big breath instead of running around trying to find answers? It's like exploring the whole house for your car keys when they were sitting on the kitchen table the whole time. You might now be wondering, how do I do that? How can I calm down and make my dreams come true? Don't worry, I'm not going to tell you to go climb a mountain to find wisdom. You can begin with something as easy as learning how to breathe. Every day, take a few minutes to breathe in deeply through your nose. Hold your breath for a second and slowly breathe out through your mouth. Try this a few times and you'll notice that your mind starts to calm down. Then, picture what you want. Make it so clear in your mind that you can almost touch it. Here's where the magic of manifestation comes in. When you're calm, your conscious mind starts working to make your dreams come true. It's like asking the world to bring you what you want while you're sitting on the couch and not even moving. With all of this, the important thing is not to fail to act. Acting is the key. But acting from a place of calm, not chaos, is key. The Stoics believed that true strength is not in being upset, but in being calm. So remember this before you act. First rest, then go take over the world. What the universe has in store for you might surprise you. Remember that the power of a mind at rest is not just a nice term. It's a way of life that can change yours if you follow it. There are times when less is better. So the next time you feel like you can't handle everything, take a deep breath, relax, and watch how your wishes start to come true. In a world full of noise, magic does happen when there is no sound. In the silence of the mind lies the voice of the heart, Epictetus said. Flow and get. Have you ever thought about how many things we try to manage? Everything, from the little things that happen every day to the big plans that look so good in our minds. What do we get? We feel stressed, angry, and like we can't control anything. It's like water running through our fingers. We forget an important lesson when we resist. Sometimes the best thing to do is to chill out and let things happen. Stoic theory, which can seem very far away and deep, tells us that we don't really have power over our lives. Think about being on a roller coaster. You can scream and hold on tight, but the ride will still be what it is at the end of the day. You will feel dizzy if you try to resist. To enjoy the beauty of life, don't try to control everything. Life is a path with many surprising turns. So why not try letting go a bit? Mindfulness exercise is one of the best things you can do for yourself. You don't have to sit in a corner of the room in lotus position to do this. The point is to learn how to watch without judging. For instance, if you're stuck in traffic, try taking a deep breath instead of going crazy, thinking about how bad the other drivers are. Enjoy the moment, put on your favorite music, or just look around. Yes, you do. Instead of getting angry, you enjoy watching your own life, which is much more fun. You can also use the method of letting go with other people. When we try to control how other people act, we sometimes make things more difficult than they need to be. No matter how hard you try, you can't change other people. It does not work. Try not to force a friend to be the way you want them to be. Instead, accept them just the way they are. Ask them to do something with you, but don't worry if they don't want to. Just take it easy. Take it easy with other people and let them go at their own pace. You have to practice letting go, just like you have to learn how to ride a bike. At first, it might look scary, and you might think you're going to fall off at any second. But as you try more times, you get better. And finally, you even start to enjoy the ride. Like riding a bike, life is about staying balanced and learning to enjoy the ride instead of just focusing on the end goal. You will find it very useful in your life to learn how to not fight back. When you stop trying to keep everything under control, you make room for peace and growth. Remember this the next time you feel stuck. Calm down and make everything you want happen. To quote a wise Stoic, life is like a river. Sometimes you have to let go and enjoy the flow. Are you ready to start letting go? You can wait for life, and you never know what great things it might bring you. Making things happen from a place of thanks. Before, have you ever thought about how being thankful can help you get what you want? Gratitude and creation are like old friends who can change your life when you use them together. It may sound like one of those Sunday morning self-help tips. If you show up to a party with an open mind and a thankful heart, you'll have a much better chance of meeting useful people. But if you do not show up and are upset, it will be like you are eating your salad in the back while everyone else dances. Why not change this and start creating from a place of thanks? There is a very clear link between being grateful and making things happen. You can get more when you're grateful for the things you already have, like your morning coffee or that song that is stuck in your head. Life seems to be saying, hey, this person really knows how to enjoy things. Let's give them more reasons to be thankful. In the next time you feel like you don't have enough, try writing down all the things that make you happy. You have a lot already, which might shock you. When we talk about manifestation, it's more than just an ex coming back with flowers, though everyone has their own hopes and dreams. Making a life that matches your inner desires is what true manifestation is. It's like painting. If you start with gratitude, the brushstrokes of your dreams will be much more vivid. Relax and manifest everything you want comes into play here. But how are you supposed to relax when life is so crazy? That sounds easier than it is, right? That is where the Stoic way of thinking comes in. To be happy, the Stoics said, you should accept the things you can't change and focus on the things you can. This mindset not only helps you control stress, but it also makes you more appreciative of all experiences, good or bad. If you run into a problem, instead of getting angry, think, this is an opportunity to learn. Here are some ways to bring more thanks into your life. First, there's the thanks book. Write down 3 things you're thankful for every night. This helps you think about the good things in life and gets you ready to receive more gifts. Second, try meditating. You don't need to know a lot about yoga or have a hard chant. Just be still and let your thoughts run. The calm that comes from it will help you see what you want more clearly. Third, spend time with people who value being thankful. Some people spread good vibes, and having a support group can help you stay focused on your goals. Being thankful is not only a good way to manifest, it's also necessary. You can get more of what you want if you connect what you value with what you want. You attract chances and blessings by having this mindset. When you think that life has your back, remember to take a moment to think about what you're thankful for. With a little work and the Stoic way of thinking, you can let go of your goals and make your dreams come true. When you're thankful for what you have, you open the door to all that can be, Gandhi said. How strong the law of attraction is. When you feel like everyone has forgotten about you, have you ever been through that part of life? Here you are, with your coffee, or tea, I won't tell, and a wish for things to go a little more smoothly. But what if I told you that the key to getting everything you want is not far away? Stoic philosophy, which is all about being thankful, is what I'm talking about. Because let's be honest, how many times have you looked out the window and dreamed of what could be instead of appreciating what you already have? Like a garden, if you only think about the bugs, what's missing, you might forget about the flowers you've already bought. Being thankful works like the sun and water that feed these flowers. Giving thanks for what you have does more than just make your garden look nicer. It also gets it ready for new seeds or chances to grow. Being grateful and manifesting go hand in hand, like a dance pair that never breaks apart. Being grateful raises your vibration, which makes you more open to new things. On the other hand, manifesting is like writing a letter to the world, asking it to give you what you want. You can't expect the world to listen if you're not thankful for what you have. Simple tip: write down 3 things you're thankful for every day to get into the habit. It could be something as easy as the tasty food your mom made or the coffee that gets you through the tough mornings. Look at this list whenever you're feeling down or wish you had something you don't yet. It will remind you that there are good things in life. It's like a buffet. You won't enjoy the food if you just look at it. Being thankful isn't going to magically solve all your problems. Let's be honest. It's not about avoiding problems or being happy even when bad things happen. You can approach problems with a more optimistic mindset, thanks to this focus. Turn problems into chances. Whenever you're having a bad day, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? You shouldn't dwell on your mistakes. Instead, use them as a chance to grow. The Stoics' main idea is that you shouldn't let outside events decide how happy you are. Also, in case you were asking, relax and manifest everything you want isn't just a popular saying on social media. There is some truth to it. Stress and worry are like rocks that get in the way of your goals. You will be able to take in more of what life has to offer if you let go of the stress and accept the process. Remember that the world moves at its own pace, and what you want can show up when you least expect it. Being grateful is the link between what you have and what you want to bring into your life. Don't undervalue the power of a thankful mindset. It's like having a flashlight that shows you the way to your goals in the dark. Take it easy, say thank you, and then watch the world do its thing. Remember that being thankful is a step toward living a better life. Someone wise once said, "He who thanks for the little he has will soon see that much more will be given to him." Before I go on, please write in the comments what you are thankful for today. This simple move might be the first thing that brings more good things into your life. A lot of the power of being aware. Have you ever thought about how strong your attention is? That ability to focus, to be present, and not let your thoughts, which often seem to have a life of their own, take over. These days, being aware is like having superpowers in a world full of noise and hurry. Even though it sounds a bit like a self-help cliché, pay attention. This ability could help you bring in all the money you want. With its focus on self-control and self-discipline, Stoicism can be a great place to start. Who needs magic when you can control your own mind? When you become more aware of your feelings and thoughts, you're more open to the chances that life has to offer. Have you ever thought about walking through life like a boat with a captain, rather than letting sadness and anger pull you along? It sounds good, doesn't it? Now, how do you get into that calm, open state that will help you make your goals come true? One easy method is to practice mindfulness meditation. Think of your mind as a place that is full of mess. Just open the window to let some fresh air in. First, find a place that is quiet and where you won't be bothered. You don't have to go to a Buddhist temple to find peace and quiet. Just find a good spot. Close your eyes, sit down, and put your hands on your knees. Take a big breath in through your nose. Hold the air for a moment, then slowly let it out through your mouth. Do this a few times. Every breath gives you a chance. Look at your goals more often once you feel like you've found a groove. As clearly as you can, picture what you want and feel the thrill of having already made it happen. Now is the time to write down your ideas. In the event that you have pressing thoughts, like the need to check your cell phone, slowly return your attention to your breathing. Being mindful is a workout. Being aware of where your attention is what it means to empty your mind. Open your eyes and take a moment to enjoy how you feel after a few minutes. Start with 5 and slowly add more. As you come out of this meditation, be sure that what you have been picturing is coming true. Regularly using this method will not only help you calm down, but it will also open you up to chances you might not have seen before. It's like cleaning out your mind. All of a sudden, you can see new options. So why not begin today? Take it easy and let good things come to you. Remember that it's not enough to just want something. You also need to get ready to receive it. If you're always in a hurry, who will notice when that perfect chance comes along? Remember this. Abundance is not a place you get to. It's a path that starts with being aware. Think about it for a minute. How sleep can help. Has anyone else ever noticed that right before you fall asleep, your mind fills with great ideas? It's like this state of half-awareness is a holy place where anything is possible. The great expressions are made right there, on the edge between being awake and asleep. There is one small thing that most people forget, though. We need to calm down for this to work. If you think that life is a game and that you are the main character, then get a pillow and learn how to dream big. Going back to the yard, your mind is like the dirt. It will grow beautifully if you take care of it by planting good thoughts and pulling out weeds. However, if you let stress and worry take over, it's likely that your dreams will die. When we find it hard to relax, this is exactly what happens. This process can be helped by the Stoic philosophy, which says to be calm when bad things happen. Don't think about all the things you haven't done yet. Instead, take a deep breath and think of sleep as a place where you can put your goals. Let's talk about getting a deep sleep. Mind is busier during REM sleep than when you're awake. Did you know that? It's like your brain waves are going up and down, and now is the best time to set strong goals. It sends a clear message to the world if you think about what you want every night before bed. But be careful. Wishing isn't enough. You need to calm your mind too for your goals to come true. Before going to bed, why not relax or just breathe for a few minutes? Close your eyes, feel your body, and let your ideas run. You don't have to be a Zen master to do this. Make this a habit by doing it every day, maybe with a cup of tea, some soft music, or even writing down your goals in a book. By going into this state before sleep, you'll be building a link between your current life and the life you want to create. If that doesn't work, here's something else. Think big, but start small. You can picture what you really want, but right now, take small steps every day toward it. Start writing 1 page a day if you want to write a book. You don't have to wait for an editor to be interested. By making this small change, you'll make your dream seem more attainable and also prepare the way for its big realization. When the day is over, how you spend the hours before bed is what will help you make your dreams come true. It takes a certain amount of effort to both calm down and let your thoughts wander. You'll give your goals a chance to take off if you let go of the stresses and problems of the day. Remember that sleep isn't just a break. It's where your thoughts begin. In his thoughts, Marcus Aurelius said, "In the silence of the night, dreams find purpose." That's where the power to make things lies. The mornings of making things happen. You know that wonderful time of day when you wake up and understand that life goes on, even if you had planned to stay in bed a little longer. But what if I told you that the right way to get everything you want is to start your day right? That is exactly what it is. Don't think that only Stoics can focus while drinking tea. You can also make your own morning routine. Take a deep breath, relax, and let's talk about how to make your dreams come true from the very start of the day. Every morning is like a new painting. If you give it to a kid with paint, they'll probably make a mess of colors that don't mean anything. As the artist that you are, you can choose which colors and shapes to use and make a painting. Which brings us to your morning routine, your color scheme, the way you center your energy and mind. The idea is simple. Do things that calm you down and help you focus first thing in the morning. Oh no, this doesn't mean you have to get up at 5 a.m. and do yoga on top of a mountain. To begin, all you need is a few minutes of deep breathing or a cup of coffee while you look out the window at the view. The key is in the intention. When you do this, you tell your mind and the world that you are ready for what you want. Here are some useful tips for the morning. First, picture it. Close your eyes and picture what you want to do. Picture the specifics, including the colors, sounds, and even feelings. Imagine this picture in your mind, like a good Stoic who thinks about life. If you feel like you're stuck, look at this picture. Second, be thankful. Take a moment to list 3 things you are thankful for when you wake up. This not only clears your mind of morning grumbles, but it also turns your attention to the good things in life. Being thankful brings more good things into your life, like a magnet. Third, moving. We're not suggesting you run a race at dawn. Instead, get moving in some way, like going for a short walk, stretching, or even dancing in the living room. Moving around burns calories and makes you feel good. A real win-win. There is a chance to start over every morning. You'll see how the world starts to work in your favor when you take the time to relax and make what you want happen. When you wake up the next time, don't drag yourself to the coffee shop like a zombie. Instead, make your own morning routine. Who knows? Maybe more people will come than you thought. Life is what you make it in the end. Brain Tracy said, "Tomorrow you'll have more of the same if you don't start building your dreams today." Imagine and make things. Are you ever in a situation where it seems like things are working together against you? If you've tried to focus on your goals, your mind may have become noisy and full of other things that don't need your attention. Like if your brain had chosen to watch a TV station with only ads. It's really easy to forget what we want when we're busy every day. This is where imagery that is calm comes in. So let's take it easy and start making what we want happen. Visualizing creatively is a lot like taking a first-class flight to the place of your dreams. We are stuck in the economy class of worry and stress, though, which is not good. If you try to picture what you want without first resting, it will not work, like trying to blow up a balloon that is tied up. Have you ever heard the saying, "Chill out and make your dreams come true"? It might sound like something from an old self-help book, but trust me, it's mostly true. It's like a gateway to the world opens up in front of you when you're in a deep state of relaxation. Your mind is open to new options. How do you do relaxed visualization? Find a quiet place, like a park or your favorite spot at home. It's important to get away from the chaos, like you're looking for a safe place to hide from the world. Take a big breath in and out while you sit. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Say it a few times until you feel like your thoughts are starting to calm down, like the ocean after a storm. Start to picture what you want. You're in a movie theater, but instead of players, you're seeing yourself on the screen. Describe what you're doing, who you're with, and how you feel in each scene. The process will work better if you can picture it very clearly. You can paint your future with any colors you want. It's like having your own imagined brush. In Stoic thought, we learn that we can't always control what happens to us. That being said, visualizing your dreams won't make them come true right away, but it is a powerful tool that, when used with action, can help you reach your goals. Don't get upset if you don't see results right away. Even the best cooks need time to make a good food. Are you ready to visualize in a calm way? Remember that the important thing is to stay calm, picture your future in great detail, and wait. Life is not a race, it's a trip. Take it easy and let your dreams come true slowly, like a good wine that needs time to get better. Great things begin with a quiet mind and an open heart, said Seneca. The power of being aware of your breathing. Have you ever had so many thoughts that it felt like your mind was like a TV with 100 shows that none of them were interesting? Stress and distractions are all around us these days. But what if I told you that you had a powerful tool at your fingertips? Yes, it's time to talk about magical conscious breathing. Don't worry, you don't have to sign up for a yoga camp on top of a mountain. Take a deep breath and wait for your life to change. Conscious breathing isn't just a nice idea that you hear in motivating talks. It's also a method that can help you focus and feel less stressed. Think of your mind as a car that's always speeding up. If you don't take your foot off the gas, you'll crash. This is where breathing consciously comes in. It helps slow down. Each breath in brings oxygen into your body, and each breath out lets go of the heavy, stressful air. You can see the floor and even remember where you left your keys after doing this. It's like cleaning up your mind. Finally, let's talk about how your goals affect what you do. Our wants and needs often seem as far away from us as a star in the sky. We want things like a better job, stronger relationships, or even a pizza without any calories, but we don't act in ways that support these wants. Instead, we keep saying, "I'll do it tomorrow." This is when conscious breathing can help you. Let your mind calm down and your thoughts get organized by taking a moment to breathe slowly. The Stoics already talked about how important it is to be calm when making choices. They knew that life is mostly a set of acts that are in line with our goals. Do not let the chaos of the world consume you. Instead, take a moment to breathe. With each breath in, you get closer to what you want, and with each breath out, you get rid of your reasons. Each deep breath is like making a roadmap that links your dreams to what you do. Because your goals are like seeds, they won't grow if you don't water them with time, effort, and a healthy mind. Being aware of your breathing is like giving your seeds the water they need. Every time you breathe in, you feed your goals, and every time you breathe out, you get rid of the things that could choke them. You'll see how your goals start to grow and show up in your life as you practice. Conscious breathing isn't just a way to relax. It's also a way to make sure that what you do is in line with what you really want. So the next time you feel like stress is taking over or that your good goals are fading, remember that it all starts with a breath. Let your mind rest for a while and watch as confusion turns into clarity. Remember that your mind is like a parachute. It can only release and fly if it's open. Stillness and a link to the world. When you think about the noise around you, have you ever stopped? There are times when it seems like everyone is trying to be the loudest. The noise from traffic, cell phones, and other people talking can become a steady buzz in our heads. With so many things going on, it's easy to get lost. But what if I told you that staying quiet is both easy and hard at the same time that you need to do to connect with the world and make what you really want happen? Many people get chills when they think about silence, but it becomes an important tool for people who want to read the signs of the world. No, I'm not talking about hearing voices or seeing other worlds. What I'm talking about is quiet, which the Stoics strongly believed in. The Stoics teach us to find peace in the middle of chaos by taking time to think and pay attention to our own thoughts. You might start to understand how the world talks to you in ways you never thought possible if you take a moment to sit still and not think about anything else. How am I going to get everything I want just by sitting in silence? You may be asking yourself. Attention is the key to the answer. Think of your mind as an old radio. It can only pick up the right station when it's on the right frequency. You can change the frequency and be more open to signs from the world when you give yourself times of calm. It's like trying to listen to your favorite music at a noisy festival, almost impossible. But once you get away from the noise, the sound gets clear and crisp. Setting aside time to meditate is one way to develop this silence. You don't need to be a Zen master to focus on your breathing for 5 minutes every day. Find a quiet place to sit and close your eyes. Let the outside noise go away as you breathe in and out. It's amazing how clear your mind can get in these short breaks of peace. You could also go outside and be in nature. This is the best place to find peace and quiet. You can find a great place to listen while walking in the country or just sitting in a park. Let the birds singing and the wind blowing help you think deeply. There is a wonderful way that nature connects our minds to the world if we let ourselves fully enjoy it. If you want to find peace, you could also try writing. Writing in a notebook can be very helpful. Putting our thoughts on paper without any opinions or distractions is sometimes all we need. When you write down your ideas and goals, you make room for the universe to talk to you. Doing it frees you up and lets your inner self talk without fear. And this conversation can help you understand. Don't worry, you read that right. Do not feel like you need to always be in charge of everything. It may feel like a race sometimes, but life isn't. Just be, and you'll see how things start to fall into place in strange ways. When life's noise gets too much for you, remember that quiet is more than just the lack of sound. It's a chance to connect with yourself and the world. Being calm during times of high noise can help you get everything you want. Stop the confusion inside you, take a deep breath, and listen. You need to pay attention to what the world is telling you. Epictetus said, "When there is silence, the universe whispers its secrets." I challenge you to find ways that these Stoic secrets can change your life. May every day bring you one step closer to the life you want. Remember that every day is a chance to get in touch with your deepest ideals and move your life toward a fuller, more important one. Don't many people tell you this secret that can change your life? There's no need to cross your fingers or wait for the stars to line up. Just act like it's already yours. Yes, just like that. You want to do well? Act like you're already successful. Want to feel more confident? Act like you're the most sure of yourself person in the world. It might sound crazy, but it makes sense when you are sure of what you're doing. Your mind stops working against you and starts working toward your goals. Today in the video, I'm going to talk about 10 useful things the Stoics knew that we know now. Fate doesn't stop you. How you deal with it does. Don't miss the last lesson. It will blow your mind. Stop waiting for someone to say yes and start living your life as if you already have it. Life doesn't respond to doubters. It responds to those who choose to live it. Are you brave? Listen to this story before you start. It will help you understand the lessons in this material better. Clarice was a young dreamer who lived in a quiet valley surrounded by mountains. She worked in a bakery during the day and dreamed about having her own store at night. Even though she loved reading, money and life seemed to be working against her to make her dream impossible to reach. Act as if it were already yours, was a saying Clarice heard on the radio one day. At first, she thought it was silly, but something about the words lit a fire in her. She thought it would be fun to try. If she couldn't have a bookstore yet, she could at least act like she did. Clarice set up a small area in her house with the few books she had every morning before she opened the shop. She put labels on them, made shelves, and wrote reviews to put next to them. She would have friends over and get really excited about the new things she had brought. Some people laughed at how excited she was, but others started to ask her for advice and even gave her books for her imaginary bookshop. As word spread through the valley, Clarice soon started using that small room on the weekends to host literary events. What began as a joke started to look a lot like a real bookstore. People came for more than just the books. They came for Clarice's friendly and inspiring atmosphere. An old man who came to the village often and became friendly with Clarice made her a surprise offer. He had an empty building in the middle of the village and wanted to give it to someone who could fix it up. Clarice told the truth. "I don't have the money to fix it up." He smiled and said, "You have something more valuable: drive and vision. You'll figure it out, I'm sure." Clarice agreed to the task. The old building was turned into the store she had always dreamed of, with the help of her friends, who gave her their time, materials, and work for free. Clarice loved books and stories, and the room showed that in every way. She thought she had finally made her dream come true when she finally opened the doors. She also realized she had been living her dream ever since. Clarice learned that sometimes we have to act like we already have what we want in order to get it. This isn't to trick ourselves, but because it starts to bring us the chances and people we need to make our dreams come true. The lesson of this story is that we can start to change by changing how we think. We plant the seeds for our dreams to come true by living our lives as if they are already true, because you make things happen when you believe. Take a moment to subscribe and turn on alerts if you find these movies helpful. This will help you stay up to date. Now let's begin. The power of thought. How many times have you felt like what you want is as far away as a star? However, what if I told you that it's not as hard as you think? I know what you're thinking. Oh, that's so simple. All I have to do is wish. But I'll tell you a secret. The key isn't just to wish. It's to act like you already have it. This thought is very strong, even though it sounds like something from a cheap self-help book. For a moment, picture that you already have what you really want. It could be a new job, the right partner, or a life full of success and peace. Now think about what you'd do if you had everything. Would you be sure of yourself? Would you make decisions with more guts? Simple suggestion from me. Act as if it were already true. You don't have to go crazy or spend all your money on something you don't have. I mean changing the way you think and act so that your life is already in line with what you want. Take a moment to think about the Stoics. They thought that how we feel is not caused by the events themselves, but by how we think about them. Your mind will start working to make your goal come true if you think that you have already reached it. Your brain goes into reality mode when you act like you've already accomplished something. This not only helps you see opportunities you'd missed before, but it also keeps you calm and determined when things get tough. Does that sound like magic? It's not magic, it's just smarts. When you first start learning to ride a bike, you might be scared of falling, but if you think about what you would do if you already knew how to ride, your mind will start to focus on balance. All of a sudden, your fear turns into confidence as you act like a pro. Even though you'll fall a few times, that won't stop you. Your goal is to reach the finish line. You shouldn't fool yourself or live in a bubble of lies. That's clear. Change your mindset, please. What you think changes what you decide, and what you decide changes what you experience. If you act like you already have what you want, you will be ready to receive it when it comes. It's like telling the world, I'm ready. I want this, and I'm going to act like I already have it. Your mind is stronger than you think. If you learn to control it, it can change your world. Imagine getting what you want and act like you already have it. Over time, things will start to fall into place. No magic or luck is needed. All you need is to use the mind, which you already have. Don't just think that something will happen. What you know for sure makes you have to act. The world changes in ways you can't even imagine when you do that. Herodotus said, "The mind has no limits. The body needs to learn how to follow it." Change how you think, and your life will change. As if you already own it is a term you may have heard. That might sound like trite self-help advice, but it holds a lot of truth. Not at all. I'm not telling you to buy things you can't afford or move into a dream house. What counts most is how you view the world, how you view yourself, and how you alter the mindset that keeps you on a never-ending cycle of activity. You need to change how you feel about things before you can change your life. It sounds easy, right? It's not that simple, though. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks when you try to change how you feel. When you think in a certain way all the time, any change can feel like a big jump into the unknown. However, the Stoics had a very good understanding of something. You are in charge of how you react to things. You owe yourself a better life, not the world. It will take a very long time if you wait for things to happen before you change how you act. If you want to feel confident, successful, and calm inside, you need to start acting like you already have all of those things. Imagine waking up one day with all the things you've always wanted. How would you feel? What are you going to do? You'd likely act more sure of yourself, right? Now, do a simple task. Start acting that way right now. You can live as if you already have everything you want right now. No, it's not about acting. It's about getting in touch with the more sure of herself version of you that knows the world isn't against you. Chances will start to show up if you can think big and believe in yourself. You need to believe you can do it first. The second step is to start living like you've already reached your goal. I understand that it's not simple. Life throws rocks in your way and your mind starts to question, but that's where a change of mindset comes in. Don't see these stones as impossible problems to solve. Instead, see them as chances to learn and grow. The Stoics said that you can change how you feel about things, but not what happens. Each challenge will just be a part of the process and not the end of the story if you have a positive attitude and truly believe in your skills and the power of your mindset. How do you change the way you feel? The first thing you need to do is really picture what you want, not just on the surface. Picture your life exactly the way you want it to be. Your brain will start to think of ways to make it happen when you do this. One more thing that affects how you feel is the way you talk to yourself. What will happen if you keep telling yourself you can't do it? If you start to think of yourself as someone who has already reached their goals, this is one of the best ways to boost your confidence. You build confidence every time you do something. It doesn't just happen. If you act sure of yourself, people will start to feel that way, even if you don't feel it at first. Failures are not the end. They are opportunities for growth if you see them that way. Soon, you'll see your mindset begin to change. At the end of the day, what really determines your life is how you think about it. Changing your attitude isn't magic, it's practice. And no, it's not easy. But just as a tree doesn't grow overnight, your mindset also needs time to develop. If you decide to start today, acting as if you already have everything you want, you'll be one step closer to achieving it. So why not start now? Life won't wait. As Carl Jung used to say, the mind is the field where all the seeds of the reality you desire grow. Let's go deeper. Have you ever felt that you are letting life pass you by while you are stuck in thoughts and habits that only hold you back? It's as if every day you wake up, but you are still asleep inside, disconnected from what really matters. Tell me, how long has it been since you really talked to yourself about what is going on? A long time, right? How long are you going to allow this to continue to be your reality? It's time to change that, to be honest with yourself. In this video, you will discover the 10 things you should say to yourself every day, statements that can completely transform the way you face life. What I'm going to teach you is not barroom chatter. It's affirmations and messages that come from Stoic wisdom. Yes, you heard right. Our Stoic friends knew very well how to talk to themselves in order to redirect their lives. If you make these affirmations your own, they will not only change how you see yourself, but also how you face challenges and relate to the world. Are you ready to become clear with yourself again and create the life you deserve? Let's get started. 1. I am capable of anything. Have you ever felt blocked by your own doubts, perhaps facing a job interview, an important exam, or even a simple pending conversation? And there you are. It's like standing in front of a closed door, holding the right key in your hand, but telling yourself it won't work. You know you could open it, but your own thoughts convince you to stay there, blocked, without even trying. Well, that's over. Listen, no one starts out believing they're capable of anything, but here's the truth. The limit is not in what you can do, but in what you think you can do. And here comes one of the most powerful tools at your disposal, your thoughts. The Stoics knew this very well. Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations wrote, "You have power over your mind, not over events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You cannot control what happens, but you can train yourself to face it with firmness." Have you ever wondered if this really works? Let me prove it to you. A study published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology showed how positive affirmations can literally change how you act and think. So, make no mistake. They are not just pretty phrases, they are powerful tools. When you tell yourself, "I am capable of facing this," your brain responds by activating areas related to confidence and reward. It's as if you turn on an internal switch that prepares you to overcome any challenge. And this is not just theory, it is something I experienced myself. I was competing in weightlifting, and the previous time my mind had played a trick on me. At the decisive moment, I was filled with doubts, and that blocked me. But this time, it was different. After months of practice and incorporating positive affirmations into my life, I stood in front of the weight, took a deep breath, and said to myself, "I am capable of lifting it." Guess what happened? That phrase changed everything. Not only did I lift it, but I did it with a confidence I had never felt before. Oh man, what a feeling! That experience taught me that many times it is not the challenge that holds us back, but what we tell ourselves. Now you tell me, are you ready to start changing the dialogue you have with yourself? First, every morning before starting your day, look at yourself in the mirror. Yes, just like you did as a child, when you weren't afraid to give yourself kisses and laugh at your reflection. When we are young, nobody teaches us not to have confidence in ourselves. We learn that later with the judgments of society. But here's the trick. Every morning, stop for a moment in front of the mirror and say a statement that reinforces your ability. It can be as simple as, "I am capable of getting through the day." Repeat this practice daily, and you will see how little by little that critical inner voice begins to shut up. Also, carry a notebook with you and spend a few minutes writing specific affirmations about what you want to achieve. Imagine you are facing a problem at work, such as having to present an idea in a meeting in front of your boss and colleagues, and you feel that you are not good enough. Instead of letting those doubts get the better of you, write, "I am capable of expressing my ideas. I am capable of speaking clearly and confidently. I am capable of adding value with my words." Do it every day. Focus on the challenges that worry you the most. You will see how this practice begins to change the way you face those moments. Truth be told, I'm not going to lie to you. The doubts will come back because that's the human mind for you. But every time they do, you will have tools to face them. Telling yourself, "I am capable of anything," is a declaration of war against those thoughts that hold you back. With each affirmation, you are regaining your strength, your control, and building a life full of purpose. My friend, today may be the day you realize what you are truly capable of. It all starts with those simple words, "I am capable of anything." 2. Lead by example. Think of a lighthouse in the middle of a storm. When everything is calm, it doesn't seem to matter that it's there, but when chaos strikes, that light becomes the only thing guiding the way. Leading by example is exactly that, showing the way forward with your actions, no matter how difficult things get. It's not about talking about values, it's about living them. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius, who faced wars, plagues, and crises, said clearly, "Don't talk about what a good person should be like. Be one." It's not theory, it's practice. It's getting up every day and deciding that your values are going to be present in everything you do, from the smallest to the most important. Because listen, our actions are like stones in a lake. The initial impact may be small, but the ripples go further than you can imagine. Take Jane Goodall, a true example of leadership. Why her? Because she didn't just talk about her love of animals and the environment, she lived it every day. When nobody was talking about conservation, she was in the jungle, observing, learning, and working tirelessly to show that the lives of chimpanzees and their ecosystems mattered. She didn't wait for others to take the first step. She took it herself. And there's something else. Goodall always led from action and empathy. Instead of imposing, she educated. Instead of demanding, she inspired. There were no speeches or positions of power, just consistency and coherence with her values. That is the magic of leading by example, showing others that change begins with ourselves. My friend, pay attention. Leading does not always mean doing something big or complicated. You can lead every day of your life. Sometimes it's just about taking small steps that change the course of a situation. If you want to be a great leader, act calmly when everything seems to be spinning out of control. Calm is your best weapon. Stop for a moment, take a breath and say something like, "We're in this together, let's figure it out." Don't underestimate the power of a quiet word in the midst of the storm. And don't forget, lead by example. Do first what you expect others to do. If you seek respect, respect. If you want solutions, propose ideas. It's easy to demand, but the true leader demonstrates with actions what they want to see. That consistency not only inspires, it also transforms the way others react. Every time you lead by example, you regain strength and purpose, not only for yourself, but for those around you. Every decision, every small gesture has the power to lead the way for others. And here's the thing, that power is in your hands every day. What kind of mark do you want to leave? When you face that next argument, problem or chaos, remember this. Leading doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you have to be real. Your actions are the guiding light. Are you ready to take the first step? Because that first step can change everything. Before continuing, if you find this content useful, consider subscribing and becoming an exclusive member to access unique benefits. And let us know in the comments, what phrase do you tell yourself every day to start each day with strength and purpose? We want to grow with you. 3. I move forward with purpose. In 1826, a woman named Mary Anning was walking along the cliffs of Lyme Regis in England. Her life was not easy. She could barely make a living selling fossils and faced the contempt of a society that didn't take women in science seriously. But Mary had a clear purpose, to discover what others couldn't see. What kept her going? The things she said to herself every day as she climbed those cliffs and faced the wind and the criticism. She probably repeated something like, "I am capable of finding what nobody else sees," or "My discoveries will change how we understand history." Every step she took, every fossil she cleaned, was not just work. It was an affirmation of her purpose. One day, as he held a strange bone in his hands, his conviction became reality. He had found the first complete skeleton of an ichthyosaur, a discovery that changed history forever. Mary Anning teaches us that no matter where we come from or the obstacles we face, what we tell ourselves on a daily basis, those affirmations, are the engine that keeps us moving forward. When we repeat purposeful phrases to ourselves, we not only change how we feel, we also reprogram our minds to move in the right direction. Imagine this. You have a clear goal in mind. You are working on a project that is important to you, something you really want to achieve, but suddenly someone asks you to do something that goes against your values. Maybe your boss suggests you take an unethical shortcut to save time, or a colleague tries to convince you to follow a strategy that doesn't align with what you think is right. In that moment, you feel the weight of doubt. Do you compromise your purpose to fit in or move forward faster? Or do you stand your ground even if it's harder? Now think about how Epictetus would act. Do you really think he would cheat? Of course not. He wouldn't let himself be carried away by the pressure of the moment. Instead, he would stop and ask himself, does this bring me closer to my purpose or take me further away from it? What decision can I make today to remain true to what I value? Probably something like, I move forward with purpose. I stand firm in what I believe in, even if the road is more difficult. Demonstrating that moving forward with purpose is not just about moving towards a goal, but doing so in a way that reflects who you are. Epictetus teaches us that moving forward with purpose means being consistent, even when the easier path seems tempting. Because when we sacrifice our values for the sake of convenience, what we gain is never worth what we lose. So how do you develop the strength to move forward, no matter what, while staying true to your purpose? Every morning, write a statement that focuses you on moving purposefully towards your goal. For example, if you're working on an important project, say, I'm moving purposefully. I will finish today's 2 key tasks. Write it on a post-it or in your diary, something you will see constantly throughout the day. This will help you to stay focused, even if distractions or unexpected challenges arise. Also, when you face a difficult decision, evaluate how it affects your purpose. For example, if your goal is to launch a business and someone proposes a collaboration that does not resonate with your values, ask yourself, does this bring me closer to or further away from my purpose of creating a business with real impact? If it is not aligned, make a firm decision. You can even write down in a notebook, today I move forward with purpose by prioritizing what brings me closer to my goal, even if it means saying no to what distracts me. This kind of daily reflection will keep you focused and firm. Remember, moving forward with purpose is not about filling your day with tasks, but about making sure that each action makes sense and brings you closer to what you really want. It's like sharpening an arrow before firing it. Every affirmation you make helps you hit the target. 4. I'm getting stronger every day. Phew, mate. I know, it all weighs on me. The daily stress, the decisions, the work colleagues, the family members who want you to live like they say. Anyway, I'll stop. You get the idea, right? It's as if every day they asked you to lift a stone and place it on a wall that seems to have no end. At first it hurts, it seems impossible, and you think, how am I supposed to endure all this? Don't worry, you are not alone in that feeling. We've all felt it. But here's something you might need to hear. It's not the easy days that make you stronger. It's each of those stones, each challenge that forces you to give more of yourself. Because even if you can't see it now, with every effort your hands get stronger, your wall grows taller, and you become more resilient. The Stoics understood that strength is not found in the absence of challenges, but in how we face them. Epictetus said, "It is not circumstances that shape us, but our way of dealing with them." Think about it. Every difficult decision, every moment when you doubt yourself, is an opportunity to grow. Strength is not about never falling, but about getting up with more and more determination. Or do your muscles grow without going to the gym? Your inner strength is the same. It is a muscle that you build with each challenge, with each day when you choose to move forward, even when the road is not easy. Do you know what can help you build that strength? Create your own visualization board. But don't worry, it's not complicated. Simply take a piece of cardboard or open a digital template and divide the space into 3 parts. In the first section, write down your goals. Make them specific. For example, I want to improve my physical health. Add inspiring images, someone training, healthy food, something that motivates you. In the second, add your achievements so far, big or small. Maybe you ran 5 kilometers for the first time, or you learned to say no to things you don't need. This reminds you that you are already strong and that you have come much further than you think. In the last part, put affirmations that reinforce your mindset of strength, like this one: I get stronger every day. Read it out loud every morning while you look at that chart, and above all, believe it. This habit reinforces your confidence, but it also reprograms your mind to believe in yourself, to focus on what you can control and how you can keep moving forward. Why does it work? Because our brain needs visual and tangible reminders of what we are capable of. That board will not only be a motivational tool, it will be your map for building your strength day after day. And here's the best part. No matter how tough the day is, you'll always have that affirmation to anchor you. So, listen to this. Every time you say, I get stronger every day, it won't just be a phrase, it will be a declaration of war against doubt, fear, and tiredness. A promise that, no matter what happens, you keep moving forward, you keep growing, you keep getting stronger. Because, my friend, that's what we are, not the weight we carry, but the strength with which we choose to lift it. 5. This too shall pass. Imagine a grey day, where the rain gives no respite, the thunder rumbles, the sky is overcast, and it seems that the sun will never come out again. But you know it will. It always does. The storm doesn't last forever. And so it is with difficult emotions, with moments that seem insurmountable. Even if you can't see it now, everything has an end. That's why the phrase, "This too shall pass," is like that ray of light which, however small, reminds you that behind the clouds, the sun is still there. Using these words is nothing new. Even the most powerful have found comfort in this idea. Abraham Lincoln said that "this too shall pass" was one of the wisest phrases he had ever heard in his life. It is said that he had it engraved on a ring. Well, we can no longer know if it is true or not, but what matters is how this phrase shaped his approach to life. It not only helped him endure the darkest difficulties, but also reminded him to keep his feet on the ground in moments of success. For Lincoln, it was a reminder that all good and bad things are temporary. For him, patience and calm were his best allies in the face of life's ups and downs. Don't you think his mentality was worthy of a good Stoic? For the Stoics, extreme emotions, both positive and negative, are like waves. They come, they hit us, and then they go. What matters is not to cling to the moment, but to face it with balance and strength. That ability to observe the present and remind yourself that everything is temporary, that this too shall pass. My friend, although this is not easy to talk about, I will. There was a time in my life when I felt completely devastated. Everything seemed to be collapsing. My efforts were not bearing fruit. My days were full of frustration. My personal life, my work, everything was going down the drain. I felt there was no way out, that my life had come to an end. But I had a friend who always told me, "Don't worry, this too shall pass." At first I didn't even listen to him. I subconsciously ignored him. But little by little it sank in. That phrase kept getting into my mind. It wasn't a magic formula, but it gave me a little peace of mind. That little pause helped me think more clearly and take a step forward. Over time, things started to improve. It wasn't quick or easy, but those 4 simple words gave me the patience to endure the process. I'm telling you this because I care about what you're going through, because I know that sometimes it seems like the difficulties are bigger than we can handle. But let me remind you of something. The storm doesn't last forever, and while it's going on, we can do something to lighten the load. When you feel like everything is coming at you, pause mentally, literally stop for a moment, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. In that pause, repeat to yourself, "This too shall pass." But don't just stop there. Accompany that pause with a concrete action. Do you want to know what I did? I forced myself to leave the house and walk, even if I didn't feel like it. Walking helped me clear my mind, connect with something bigger than my problem, and remind myself that there is always movement, even when everything seems to be standing still. So this is the best advice I can give you. Take your break. Find your action. It could be going for a walk, writing down what you feel, or simply taking a moment to be with yourself. That little combination of pause and movement can make a big difference. And now I want you to tell me, have you been in a situation where you said to yourself, "This too shall pass"? How did it help you get through the moment? Tell us in the comments about an experience in which this idea gave you strength, or how you plan to use it from now on. 6. I leave the excuses behind. Let me take you to a key moment in the life of someone who decided that excuses were not going to be his story, but the starting point for something better. Imagine being in a cold cell, with walls that seem to enclose the space more and more every day. That was the daily life of Wes Watson, a man who made mistakes and ended up in prison. He could have filled himself with excuses. I don't have the resources. No one is going to give me a chance. My life is already ruined. But one day he decided that all that was not going to define him. He stood in front of the mirror in his cell and said to himself, "I'm leaving the excuses behind." Every morning he repeated that affirmation as a ritual, and every day he made decisions that brought him closer to the person he wanted to be. He couldn't change his past, but he could build a future. And he did. When he left prison, he had not only regained his freedom, he had also transformed his mindset. Today, he inspires thousands of people with his story and his message. There is no excuse when you make the decision to change. The Stoics would have understood this perfectly. For them, excuses were nothing more than mental barriers. Do you remember what Epictetus taught us? What really limits you is not external things, but how you decide to face them. Because let's face it, it's easy to wait for things to change on their own, isn't it? Filling yourself with excuses to justify doing nothing is much more comfortable. Saying, "The doctor told me I have knee problems, so I can't exercise," is better than taking the reins and saying, "I have knee problems, but I can start walking 15 minutes a day to improve my health." That small change in mindset transforms how you face challenges. Excuses are dangerous, my friend. They give you that false sense of security that nothing is your responsibility. It's like wrapping yourself in a blanket in the middle of summer. At first it seems comforting, but soon it will suffocate you, and you will end up overwhelmed and uncomfortable. So what can you do to change that? This is hard to hear, but you may need to. You must take charge of yourself. Focus on developing your inner strength to adapt and move forward. The Stoics taught that true freedom lay in taking full responsibility for our decisions. Listen to me. Stop blaming fate, the government or your neighbor for what happens to you. That only helps at the beginning, a few seconds of condescension towards yourself. but then it only holds you back. Stop telling yourself that the reason for everything is out there and start telling yourself that it's in your hands. It's time to accept every challenge as an opportunity to be better. Connect with sincerity. How many times have you looked at a complicated situation and thought there was nothing you could do? Those excuses, although they seem to protect you, are what paralyze you. But there is something you can do to break them. Every day, at the start of the morning, stop in front of the mirror and say, "Today, I leave excuses behind." But don't just leave it hanging in the air. Accompany it with something concrete, with that excuse you want to leave behind. For example, if your excuse is usually, "I don't have time," you can say, "Today I will organize my time to achieve what is important." And then do it. Schedule an hour for that task you've been avoiding. If your excuse is, "I don't have energy," you can say, "Today I prioritize my well-being to feel strong," and go for a walk, exercise, or eat something healthy. What you tell yourself changes the way you act. If you start to repeat to yourself that you are leaving your excuses behind, your mind aligns with that belief, and your actions begin to reflect it. Like Wes, every day you will be a little closer to being the person you want to be. I want you to think about this. Excuses are comfortable, but they will never take you where you really want to be. Every time you leave them behind, no matter how small, it's like a weight off your shoulders. Leaving your excuses behind is not a great one-day heroic act. It's a daily decision, an honest conversation with yourself. My friend, remember, I leave my excuses behind. Every day, every decision. That's the key. 7. I recognize my greatness. My friend, I want you to think about this. Your greatness is like a fire burning in the middle of a cold night. It may sometimes seem small, as if it were barely giving off any heat, but it is still there, burning strongly. The funny thing is that it is often we ourselves who try to put it out, as if we did not deserve to feel its warmth. We focus on our faults, forgetting all the good things we do every day. But listen, that fire, that greatness, has always been there. You just need to recognize it so that it illuminates everything you do. Has it ever happened to you that you know you can achieve something, but you still feel held back, as if something inside you were saying, "No, you'd better stay where you are, don't take any risks"? Abraham Maslow, the famous psychologist, called this the Jonah complex. It's as if you are afraid of shining too brightly, of standing out. And why do you do it? Because it brings with it responsibility or attention, and maybe that makes you uncomfortable. But listen, that fear is a disguised excuse. Recognizing your greatness is not only possible, but necessary, because even if you sometimes prefer to stay in the shadows, the world needs that light that you carry within you. It's time to leave behind those barriers you put up for yourself and start talking to yourself in a different way, one that pushes you forward. The Stoics knew that greatness is not something reserved for heroes or leaders, but for anyone who acts with virtue and determination. Seneca said, "Difficulty comes from our lack of confidence." That is to say, many times, it is not that we are not capable, but that we do not believe in ourselves enough. And this was not just an idea for him, he practiced it every day. Seneca devoted time to reflecting on his actions, writing in his diary what he'd done well and how he'd faced challenges. He acknowledged his achievements to reinforce his confidence and ensure that he lived according to his values. Now let me put you in a situation. Today, you finished an important project at work. You've been spending weeks on it, working hard to get it perfect. You send the final email with the results. And what do you do next? Take a break, right? Or are you thinking about what that's going to be like? The world would come to a standstill if I didn't move on to the next thing. So you start thinking about the next goal, the next task, or worse, you start analyzing everything that could have turned out better. I could have done it differently, or it wasn't even that important. Do you realize how unfair you are to yourself? You dedicate time, energy, and effort, but you never allow yourself to recognize what you have achieved. What would happen if, instead, you took a moment to recognize your effort and your greatness? Oh, I understand. You are so used to beating yourself up that you don't know how to recognize all the things you do well. Well, don't worry. We are here to rescue you. How are you going to do it? Every night, write down 3 things you did well during the day. They can be big or small. You finished a task you were putting off. You called a relative to see how they were. You did something well at work. Also, write down how these actions reflect your best self. For example, today I listened to a friend who needed support. This way, you can focus on the positive. But don't leave it at that. Just when you're finished writing the 3 things, you should say, "Today I recognize my greatness." This completes the cycle. I want you to take something clear from this. Recognizing your greatness is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Every time you do it, you strengthen your confidence, you inspire others, and you light that inner fire that drives you forward. As the great Nelson Mandela said, "There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that others don't feel insecure around you." My friend, your greatness is not only yours, it is also a gift to the world. So no, don't hide it. Recognize it. 8. I free myself from the opinions of others. My friend, let me tell you something that I experienced for a long time. I allowed the opinions of others to control me. There were those who said, "You shouldn't think so big, it's not realistic," or "That path is not for you, you'd better do something safer." And of course those words weighed on me. It was as if they were trying to put out a flame that I was just beginning to light. Every comment, every criticism disguised as advice, made me doubt myself. I felt trapped, as if my life was being written by others, not by me. But there came a moment when I stopped. I thought, why do I let other people's words define what I am capable of doing? That's when I decided to free myself from other people's opinions. And it didn't happen overnight. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a process. I started repeating things to myself like, "What others think of me is not my responsibility," or "My path doesn't have to make sense to anyone but me." Little by little, those affirmations began to sink in. I stopped worrying so much about stares, about judgments, and man, that was when I started to be truly happy. I went my own way, and, although it wasn't perfect, it was mine. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not over events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And that's exactly what happens with other people's opinions. You can't control what they think or say, but you can decide how much importance you give to them. Freeing yourself from the opinions of others does not mean completely ignoring them, but rather remembering that they do not have the power to define you unless you give it to them. I want you to imagine this. You are choosing what to wear to go out to dinner with friends. You have a garment that you love, that reflects exactly how you feel and who you are. But just before you put it on, doubts start to creep in. What if they think it's too much? What will they say about this style? Would something simpler be better? It seems silly, but it's a common situation, isn't it? It reflects the weight that other people's opinions have on us. So, instead of wearing what you really wanted, you choose something neutral, something that doesn't draw attention, something that isn't you, do you realize how paralyzing it can be to live up to other people's expectations? Now, let's change that script. The next time you're in front of the mirror and those voices appear, take a deep breath and say, "Today, I choose to show myself as I am, without fear of anyone's judgment." Make it a habit, part of your routine. Before going out, look at yourself in the mirror, repeat the affirmation, and smile, because what matters is not whether someone else likes it, but whether it makes you feel authentic. And here's another tip. At the end of dinner, take a moment to reflect on how you felt about being yourself. Ask yourself, did I choose what I really wanted? Did I give in to the opinions of others? Write down your answer. If you recognize that you were true to yourself, congratulate yourself. If not, don't punish yourself. Make a plan to try next time. These small victories are what free you, day by day, from the chains of other people's opinions. My friend, I want you to remember this. Other people's opinions are like the wind. Sometimes they are gentle, sometimes they are strong, but they cannot knock you down unless you give them the power. Freeing yourself from them does not mean that you don't care about people. It means that you no longer define yourself by what they think of you. That's how you find your true north, your happiness, your path. Because in the end, real freedom is not just about doing what you want, but about being who you really are, without fear of what others say. Are you ready to break those chains? Go for it. There is nothing more liberating. 9. Live in the present. Living in the past is like trying to drive while only looking in the rear-view mirror. What happens in the end? You miss the road right in front of you, the only one that really matters, the present. And the same thing happens if you're only thinking about the future. The funny thing is that we often know we should be here, in the now, but our minds keep wandering. Has it ever happened to you that you are at a family dinner surrounded by laughter and conversation, but your mind is somewhere else? Maybe you are thinking about that argument you had yesterday, or going over the endless list of things you have to do tomorrow. Suddenly, you realize that the moment has passed. Your uncle's jokes made everyone laugh, but you didn't hear them. Your cousin was given a special gift, and you didn't even notice her smile. And when it's all over, you feel that twinge of regret. You were physically there, but you didn't experience it as you should have. Do you think Marcus Aurelius also got distracted and missed the key moments of his empire? Imagine an emperor facing critical decisions, with his mind wandering between the problems of the past and the worries of the future. It seems impossible, doesn't it? But Marcus Aurelius was human, like you and me, and of course he faced distractions. However, he knew something that few of us practice today: how to bring his attention to the present. He summed it up with impressive clarity. Always think that you are living only this moment, and that the rest of your life is in suspense. For Marcus Aurelius, the present was not just an idea, it was his refuge. At the end of each day, he would sit down to reflect, writing in his meditations what he had done, how he had acted, and what he could do better. He was not seeking perfection, but to understand that the only thing he could control was what he did in that moment. And that kept him focused on what really mattered. Eckhart Tolle, author of The Power of Now, talks a lot about how to reconnect with the present. He explains that the mind has a natural tendency to worry or wander, but that we can return to the present with something as simple as a question. But instead of just asking yourself, make it a statement. Why? Because when you say it to yourself, you anchor yourself to the moment. For example, instead of letting your mind get lost in the noise of the day, say to yourself, I am here now. Do it when you feel disconnected. As you say it, direct your attention to your surroundings. Look at the colors, feel the air on your skin, listen to the sounds. Imagine you are walking down the street and your mind starts to wander. What am I going to do about that problem tomorrow? Why didn't I do this differently yesterday? Instead of getting caught up in those thoughts, say to yourself, where am I? I'm on the street. I'm looking at a bird on a tree branch. Really, try it. It's amazing how a simple phrase can interrupt the mental chaos and bring you back to what matters. But don't just do it once and that's it. This is something you have to practice every day, because remember, the brain is also a muscle and it needs to be trained. So you can do it while you're walking, while you're eating, or even in the middle of a conversation. If you're having dinner and your mind won't stop, look at your plate of food and describe it. I'm here, in the living room at home, I'm eating a plate of rice. Oh, and another thing. At the end of the day, reflect for a moment. Ask yourself, how many moments of today did I really experience? It's not about judging yourself, but about being aware and improving little by little. You can even write down a moment that you really enjoyed, saying, today I lived fully when I stopped to watch the sunset, or today I was present while talking to my friend. Those small victories train you to be more present every day. My friend, life is not in the past, which you can no longer change, nor in the future, which does not yet exist. It is here, in this moment, waiting for you to live it. And living in the present is not a cliché. It is an act of love towards yourself and those around you. Don't forget, I am here, I am living this moment, and that is enough. 10. I decide my reality. I'm sure it's happened to you. It's Monday morning, the alarm clock goes off, and from the moment you open your eyes, you already feel that the day is lost. Tiredness overwhelms you, work tasks seem endless, and in your head only one thought resounds. Today is going to be disgusting. But wait, what if you decide something different? What if you decide right at that moment that, no matter what happens outside, you can choose how to live your day? Because, my friend, therein lies the power that we often forget. You decide your reality. Marcus Aurelius put it with brutal clarity. If you are distressed by something external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your evaluation of it, and you have the power to revoke that evaluation at any time. The Stoics believed that it was not events that affected us, but how we chose to interpret them. A rainy day does not have a fixed meaning. It may be the worst day for one person, or an opportunity to enjoy the calm for another. Reality is not outside you, it is in how you perceive it. A great example of this is Helen Keller. Imagine losing your sight and hearing when you are just a child. What would you do in her place? Most of us would feel defeated, trapped in a darkness with no way out. But Helen didn't see it that way. For her, these limitations were not a sentence, but a challenge, an opportunity to improve herself. And she didn't just do it, she made it her driving force in life. Helen said, "Life is a daring adventure or nothing at all." And she lived by that premise. She learned to communicate, something that seemed impossible. She wrote books that inspired millions. She gave lectures all over the world, demonstrating that our circumstances do not define us. Because Helen understood something essential, she could not control what happened to her, but she could decide how to face it. And in that decision, she found her true strength. Now I want to put you in a situation. Imagine you're stuck in a traffic jam. The traffic isn't moving, and your mind starts to fill with negative thoughts. This always happens to me. I'm going to be late. What a waste of time. Do you realize how those thoughts only increase your frustration? Now, what would happen if instead of feeding that stress, you decided to change your perspective? You could tell yourself, I have a moment to listen to an inspiring podcast, or I'm going to use this time to calm my mind. It doesn't change the traffic, but it completely changes how you experience it. And here's something practical to start deciding your reality every day. First, every morning, ask yourself this question: what can I do today to create a reality that makes me happy? Write it down in a visible place. It will put you in a proactive state of mind, reminding you that you always have the power to choose your focus. Second, when faced with a difficult situation, say to yourself, I choose to see the opportunity in this. It may not be obvious at first, but if you repeat it to yourself, you start to train your mind to find learning opportunities instead of obstacles. For example, if you have a problem at work, you can see it as a burden or as an opportunity to demonstrate your abilities. It's up to you, my friend. We can't control everything that happens to us, but we can always decide how we respond. And in that decision lies our true freedom. Life is not about waiting for things to change. It's about changing the way you look at them. Because in the end, reality is not something that just happens to you. It's something that you build every day. Every moment you are alive, you have an opportunity to add something new to this reality you are constructing. It is like having a canvas in front of you at all times, and each decision you make places a new brushstroke on it. Sometimes you choose bright, bold colors because you feel confident and enthusiastic. Other times, you find yourself selecting darker shades that reflect tiredness, doubt, or sorrow. Either way, the artwork is always unfolding, and your willingness to pick up the brush is what keeps the process moving. The Stoics understood this as the balance between what is and what can be. For them, true mastery was not about forcing the universe to conform to a perfect picture, but about handling each moment with wisdom, knowing that your response is your true domain. In a modern context, this translates into the simple but liberating realization that your mindset is the gateway to changing how each day unfolds. It may sound overly idealistic to say you can wake up and proclaim that today is going to be fantastic, and suddenly everything lines up in your favor. Life does not always respond to such simplistic demands. However, it's not really about ignoring life's complexities, but about grounding yourself in the understanding that your power begins with your intentions and your perceptions. If a negative thought arises, like, I'm too tired, or it's going to be a bad day, you can observe it, acknowledge it, and decide whether to keep it or replace it with a more beneficial narrative. You can say, yes, I'm tired, but I can still make an effort to enjoy what the morning brings. This small pivot is how you begin to decide the tone of your experiences. Where many people go wrong is that they either pretend everything is perfect when it is not, or they succumb to negativity without question. The middle path, which is to accept the reality of how you feel, yet also direct your outlook toward growth, is the essence of wise living. If you think about it, the greatest obstacle to deciding your reality often comes from the stories you tell yourself that you believe are absolute truth. Maybe you grew up being told that you aren't creative, so now you won't even pick up a paintbrush because you have decided it's not for you. Or you were made to believe you're not a math person, and now you never challenge yourself with analytical tasks. These internalized beliefs box you in. They limit your sense of possibility. But what if you were to challenge them each time they came up? What if every time you heard that inner voice say, I'm not good enough for this, you replaced it with, I am learning to improve, and I will try. The world might not instantly morph into your dream scenario, but you would discover a gradual shift in the way you approach tasks, people, and challenges. The shift is subtle but powerful, allowing you to see windows of opportunity where before you saw only brick walls. Understanding that you decide your reality does not mean external events don't happen, or that other people have no influence over your life. Clearly, life can throw challenges at you that are beyond your direct control. A sudden job loss, a health scare, or the loss of someone close. Yet even then, how you respond determines the shape these events take in your personal experience. You can lament your bad luck, feel powerless, and stay locked in anger or sadness. Or you can allow yourself to grieve, to process, and then decide on the steps that will carry you forward. It might be a slow climb, but each day you choose a perspective that says, I can work with this situation, is a day you reclaim some aspect of your personal power. This is not to diminish pain or difficulty. It's to say that within that pain, there exists at least a spark of choice in how you carry it. You might recall a time you tried to tackle a tough project at work or in your personal life. Perhaps you felt overwhelmed by the magnitude of it. Maybe it was organizing an event, writing a lengthy paper, or learning a new skill that seemed beyond your abilities. In those moments, it is easy to focus on the obstacles, not enough time, insufficient resources, or self-doubt. If you adopt a worldview of scarcity, telling yourself that everything is stacked against you, then your reality will be shaped by stress, procrastination, and anxiety. On the other hand, if you say to yourself, I have these 3 hours, I'll make the most of them, or I don't have all the resources I would like, but I can be creative with what I do have, you start shifting your perspective from victimhood to possibility. The tasks don't magically become easier, but your mental approach becomes more constructive. By choosing to see how you can move forward, you create momentum. You slowly but steadily piece together solutions that previously seemed invisible. Many people think of deciding your reality as a form of escapism, but it is actually the opposite. Escapism is wishing circumstances would vanish or ignoring them in favor of fantasy. Deciding your reality is a form of radical acceptance, blended with the belief that within those accepted parameters, your perspective shapes what you do. If you were in a small boat caught in the middle of a storm, escapism might be closing your eyes and pretending you're on a calm lake, which leaves you unprepared for the waves. Deciding your reality means acknowledging the storm is here, but you're capable of steering, bailing water, and navigating. It means you don't panic into helplessness. Instead, you find the part of the situation you can direct. Over time, that approach might lead you to calmer waters. In everyday life, consider how you interpret someone's harsh words or a disagreement with a loved one. You could decide that such conflicts are proof the relationship is doomed, or you could decide that conflicts happen and can lead to better understanding if handled with honesty and empathy. This shift in interpretation changes how you act. Instead of lashing out or shutting down, you might have a constructive conversation. Or, if a relationship really is unsalvageable, you can decide it's time to let go for your well-being, but from a place of respect for yourself, rather than a feeling of absolute defeat. This recognition of your own agency in interpreting events is precisely what the Stoics emphasized. It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about them, as Epictetus famously noted. You can't eliminate conflict from life, but you can decide how it contributes to or detracts from your sense of self and your broader goals. One practical method to help you claim that power is through journaling. Even if you're not a natural writer, spending a few minutes each day putting thoughts on paper can illuminate how you shape your reality. Write down a situation that bothered you, then list out the raw facts, what literally happened without emotional bias. Next, write out your interpretation, what you told yourself about the event, how you felt, what assumptions you made. Finally, reflect on whether there is another way to frame the experience that might be more helpful or more accurate. Over time, you'll see how certain negative thought patterns keep recurring and how you can interrupt them. This simple exercise builds an awareness that you indeed hold the reins of your daily experiences to a greater degree than you might initially believe. It also helps to observe your language. Are you telling yourself, "I have no choice but to do this," or "I have to put up with that"? A small tweak to your phrasing can reassert your sense of agency. Instead of "I have to," try "I choose to," even if it is a task you're not thrilled about, like paying bills. Saying, "I choose to pay my bills because maintaining financial stability allows me freedom in the long run," is a significantly different mindset than "I hate paying bills, but I guess I have to." The change in language might seem trivial, but it subtly reminds you that you are an active participant in your life, not a passive recipient of burdens. This reorientation can help reduce resentment or frustration, replacing them with a calm recognition of your role in sustaining your responsibilities. Another powerful tool is visualization. This doesn't mean daydreaming about being a millionaire while lying on the couch. Rather, it means holding a clear picture of how you want to respond to certain stresses or challenges. For instance, if you know you tend to panic when giving presentations at work, spend a bit of time imagining yourself calmly walking to the front of the room, speaking clearly, and fielding questions with composure. That mental rehearsal shapes neural pathways associated with confidence and self-efficacy. You are deciding how you want your reality to look in that scenario, and you're training your mind and body to align with that image. Then, when the actual event arrives, you'll have a reference point for how to act. It's not foolproof, but it can drastically improve your resilience under pressure and help you embody the kind of person you want
to be.
Importantly, deciding your reality also includes acknowledging when you need support or a change in environment. It's not about lone wolf heroism or denying vulnerabilities. Rather, it's about taking responsibility for how you orchestrate the elements of your life. If you realize you're in a toxic work environment where you cannot flourish, deciding your reality might mean updating your resume, reaching out to connections, and planning an exit strategy. It could also mean seeking therapy, coaching, or mentorship to help reshape destructive patterns. Far from ignoring the tough parts of life, you face them head-on and guide your next steps. In effect, you say, "I see what is happening, and I won't wait around for everything to fix itself. I am going to steer my life in a new direction." Each choice along the way is a building block that accumulates into a new, more intentional reality. As you continue down this path, you might notice that your external circumstances slowly shift to reflect your internal decisions. People around you might sense a new confidence or clarity and respond differently. You may be drawn to opportunities that were always there, yet invisible to you when you were focused on a more negative outlook. Even your conversations and relationships can evolve, because the energy and mindset you bring to them has changed. And in turn, you'll find that you're building what could be called a momentum of self-determination. Once you see how powerful this is, it becomes easier to apply in new situations because you have proof that you're not helpless in the face of life's unpredictability. Still, it's vital to remain humble enough to understand that deciding your reality is a practice, not a destination. You will fail at times. You might fall back into old patterns or discover that some challenges are more stubborn than expected. You could even confront situations so overwhelming that your initial attempts at reframing or pivoting fall short. In those moments, remember that the Stoic approach is not about perpetual success, but about perseverance and self-awareness. You can pause, regroup, and try again. The acceptance of imperfection is crucial because without it, you could become frustrated or feel inadequate when positivity alone doesn't solve everything. Reality is an interplay of both your mindset and the external world's forces. Navigating that interplay requires ongoing recalibration. Think about someone who embarks on a new fitness journey. On day one, they're excited, telling themselves they're strong, determined, ready. Maybe they post an inspirational quote or two. Then day 3 arrives, and they're sore, exhausted, not seeing immediate progress. The easier story to believe is, "I'm just not cut out for this," or "these workouts aren't for me." But if they remind themselves that these struggles are part of the process, that the discomfort is a sign they're pushing their boundaries and growing, they can rewrite the script. Instead of quitting, they decide to rest strategically, adjust their routine, consult a trainer, or refine their goals. Each day, they decide again how they will face the challenge. Over weeks and months, a transformation occurs, and it's not just physical. Mentally, they begin to see themselves as someone who can persist. This is the essence of deciding your reality in practice. The reality of the workout is, it's tough, but the vantage point they choose, where the struggle is meaningful, reshapes the entire experience. Sometimes people worry that focusing too much on internal perspective can make them insensitive to others or disconnected from empathy. But it's actually quite the opposite. The more you understand how your own interpretations drive your emotions, the more compassion you can have for others who are also wrestling with their perceptions. If someone lashes out or seems negative, you begin to see it might be because of the story they're telling themselves about the situation, rather than labeling them as inherently bad or rude. You see them as another human being grappling with difficulties. This does not mean you become a pushover, but it does mean you can choose a more balanced response, sometimes offering a hand rather than a harsh judgment. Thus, deciding your reality can lead to deeper insight and more constructive relationships overall. Moreover, there's a joy in reclaiming your power to choose. It can be thrilling to realize that you're allowed to decide how you interpret a Monday morning or a setback at work. It might start off as a small sense of freedom, a fleeting moment where you think, "I don't have to be miserable about this." Then, day by day, that sense of freedom grows. You might find yourself smiling at little things, like the color of the morning sky, the sound of birds, the smell of coffee, or a stranger's kindness. You might also recover more quickly from irritations because you recognize that the frustrations only linger if you hold on to them. Instead of ruminating over a traffic jam or a disagreement, you can say, "This is temporary, and I choose not to carry the tension." That's a pretty incredible way to live, lightening the load of daily stress by deciding you do not want to keep it. Perhaps the biggest challenge arises when you're confronted with extreme adversity. It's relatively easy to shift your perspective when the stakes are low. But what about life-altering challenges? A devastating loss, serious illness, or financial ruin can test the limits of your ability to shape your internal narrative. Yet even in these moments, the principle remains. Your interpretation, your acceptance, and your proactive approach can alleviate or intensify your suffering. You might not be able to salvage everything you lost, but you can salvage your growth, your capacity for empathy, and your resolution to keep going. You might not do it perfectly. You might stumble and feel overwhelmed. That is human. But eventually, if you keep reminding yourself that within every crisis is some measure of choice, you will find a path, maybe one you did not foresee, that grants a new beginning. The shift from despair to tentative hope can be the first step toward rebuilding, and it comes from that spark of recognition. No matter how dark it is, I still decide what this means for me going forward. In practical terms, it helps to have a few daily rituals that underscore this freedom. One could be a morning affirmation, telling yourself something like, "I have the power to shape how I see the world today." Another could be a short evening reflection, where you ask, "Did I choose my outlook today, or did I let events dictate my mood?" At first, you may find that events dictated your mood quite often, but over time you will catch yourself earlier. You'll sense the negativity creeping in and pause to reassess, thinking, "Hold on, is this how I want to feel?" Then maybe you'll take a quick walk, do some breathing exercises, or confide in a friend who supports your growth. These small breaks in old patterns accumulate into real transformation. Eventually, your baseline reaction to setbacks shifts from hopelessness to curiosity, from immediate negativity to a calmer, more open-minded approach. What makes this journey so worthwhile is the gradual increase in self-trust, when you consistently see that you can, in fact, pivot your perspective, turn a potentially miserable day into a somewhat pleasant one, or handle a confrontation more calmly. You begin to trust yourself under pressure. You know that you have resources within you that you may never have tapped into before. This self-trust doesn't turn you into someone who's always cheerful or never upset. It turns you into someone resilient who recovers and adapts. Suddenly, life's twists and turns do not all have to be dreaded. They can be faced knowing you have at least a baseline capacity to keep your composure and find meaning. That composure spills into creative pursuits too. When you decide your reality, you realize you're free to explore hidden passions or activities that once seemed silly or unattainable. Maybe you always wanted to dance, paint, write poetry, or learn a musical instrument, but never tried because you'd convinced yourself it was not practical. Now, with your newly cultivated sense of agency, you might give it a go. You won't worry as much about looking foolish because you've stopped giving so much weight to external judgment. You realize there is joy in creating, in exploring, in trying, no matter what the final outcome may be. And that joy is part of the reality you're building, a part that can breathe freshness into your routine and add layers to your sense of identity. Alongside that exploration, you may become more tolerant of experimentation in other areas of life, professionally, spiritually, intellectually. If you believe you can handle new experiences and shift your mindset to meet challenges, then you're less afraid of failing. Failure no longer has to be the end of the story. It is simply a plot twist you can work through. You can decide that failing once at a business venture, for instance, does not make you a failure. Instead, it's an event. With reflection, you can glean lessons from it. Then you decide that you are someone who grows from setbacks. This sense of empowerment can lead you to attempt new ways of living that once felt out of reach. The real gift is not success in every endeavor. The real gift is unlocking the willingness to live more fully without being shackled by fear of embarrassment or defeat. One common hurdle to all of this is comparison to others. You might see peers who seem far ahead in life, better careers, more money, happier relationships. If you buy into that comparison, you might conclude that your own progress is worthless, or that you're simply behind. Deciding your reality means stepping out of that toxic loop. You can see others' achievements as information, inspiration, or something neutral, rather than a measure of your own worth. You focus on your unique path, your unique timeline, and what truly matters to you. Perhaps you don't want the same things society says you should want. Maybe you find fulfillment in simpler living, in creative expression, in strong friendships, or in helping others. Deciding your reality includes the freedom to define success on your own terms, not to chase someone else's version of it. This shift can liberate you from so much anxiety and wasted energy. You stop trying to keep up with an arbitrary standard and start directing your attention to what aligns with your values. Another element that can reinforce your newfound sense of personal power is surrounding yourself with people and environments that echo your perspective. It doesn't mean you have to cut everyone out of your life who is negative, but it does mean consciously choosing influences that nurture rather than stifle your growth. Maybe you join a group or a club of like-minded individuals who share an interest in personal development. Maybe you seek out mentors who encourage you, or simply reduce the time you spend in interactions that pull you back into old, limiting thought patterns. Creating a supportive ecosystem around you can solidify your commitment to shaping your experiences with intention. And yet, paradoxically, part of deciding your reality is also learning to coexist with other viewpoints without letting them derail your peace. If you only ever want to be around those who agree with you, you risk becoming brittle. Strength comes from being in diverse environments, hearing various opinions, and still retaining your core sense of self. You can welcome challenging perspectives, adapt, or discuss them openly without losing sight of your power to interpret and respond. This resilience is the hallmark of a well-rooted mindset, flexible enough to learn, strong enough to remain intact. One day, you may look back at your life and see a series of moments, some triumphant, some heartbreaking. What will tie them all together is how you navigated each event. If you adopt the Stoic-inspired understanding that your happiness or misery largely stems from the story you build around experiences, you can find a through line of growth and self-determination. You'll notice how each instance of choosing a constructive viewpoint led to better outcomes, or at least a calmer soul. That recognition can bring a profound sense of fulfillment. It's not that you avoided pain or soared above every difficulty. It's that you lived consciously, deciding again and again that your power is in how you see and act in each situation. As a final reflection, remember that deciding your reality is not an endpoint, but a lifetime practice. There will be days when you forget, when you let autopilot thinking or negative emotions rule. When you catch yourself in those moments, do so with gentleness. Then remind yourself of the extraordinary possibility that lies within your next thought, your next breath, your next choice. That's all it takes. A steady return to the knowledge that you have creative power over your perspective. No external force can strip you of that unless you concede it. So hold it close, cherish it, and exercise it with courage and kindness. Over time, you'll realize that the phrase, "I decide my reality," has become less of a mantra and more of a lived truth. And through that truth, you'll shape not just your own life, but also the lives you touch, illuminating the path for others to step into their own sense of inner freedom. Day after day, as you affirm your capability and responsibility to influence how you respond to the world, you grow more adept at noticing the moment when a negative thought arises and choosing a new one. You might be in a stressful meeting and you feel that old anxiety welling up. In the past, you might have withdrawn or snapped in frustration. Now you realize you can remain present. You can decide that you are here to learn or to offer a calm presence. This slight reframing changes the entire complexion of the meeting. Instead of counting every second until it ends, you adopt a mindset of curiosity. You reflect on how you can contribute or what you can glean from the discussion. The shift might be subtle, but these micro-decisions add up throughout your day, eventually defining your overall sense of contentment and purpose. Likewise, when you open yourself to the idea that you actively shape your experiences, you might also find it easier to show gratitude. Gratitude can become a habit that amplifies the positive aspects of your self-determined reality. By consistently recognizing the good, you reinforce the narrative that life is not merely a parade of obstacles. Even on difficult days, you can find something small that grounds you in gratitude: a supportive friend, a moment of peace, or a lesson learned. Doing so helps you keep perspective, reminding you that you have the capacity to see blessings among the trials. This outlook does not erase the trials, it balances them. It ensures that the tough times do not overshadow the many gifts that are also present. Deciding your reality means you're building a mental framework that turns adversity into an invitation for growth, success into a reason for humility, and the mundane into an opportunity for mindfulness. It's a shift from living by default to living by design. People who embrace this shift often report feeling more aligned with their true selves, more patient with others, and more enthusiastic about the future. That doesn't mean everything suddenly becomes easy. Life remains complicated, but at least you know that you are an active player, not a passive observer. It's empowering to stand in the middle of chaos and say, "I can't control all of this, but I'll control what I can: my mind, my response, my willingness to discover meaning." And so you continue day by day, practicing small acts of self-guided thinking. Perhaps in the morning you take a quiet moment to ask, "How do I want to experience this day?" And at night you reflect on whether you kept that intention alive. If you drifted, that's okay. You simply reaffirm the next day. This cyclical practice is how you deepen the habit. Over time, your new default might become one of calm resilience rather than anxious reaction. You might also become more creative, because less energy is spent on fighting circumstances and more is spent on exploring what can be done with them. You begin to see solutions that used to elude you, precisely because your mind is no longer fixated on the negative. This clarity can lead to breakthroughs, both personally and professionally. Even if you live in a context filled with constraints, financial hardships, cultural expectations, personal obligations, there is still room to decide your approach. You might not be able to spontaneously change your entire situation, but you can change what the situation means in your life. For someone juggling multiple jobs, deciding your reality might mean choosing to see your resilience as a testament to your resourcefulness rather than a burden that defines you as unlucky. Or for someone who is caretaker to a loved one, deciding your reality might involve finding moments of connection and love in an otherwise challenging routine. In that choice lies a sense of peace that can coexist with hardship. Over time, these choices can accumulate into bigger transformations. The caretaker who chooses to see love and purpose in the daily tasks might eventually become an advocate for others in similar situations, guiding them toward resources or emotional support. The individual working multiple jobs could find ways to upgrade their skills, gradually shifting into more stable employment. Both examples show that deciding reality is not just an internal trick. It can lead to tangible changes, fueled by a mindset that is determined and open to possibilities. This synergy between mental attitude and real-world action is the core of self-efficacy and personal development. If you examine how you treat yourself in quiet moments, you might uncover patterns that sabotage your ability to decide your reality. Maybe you indulge in harsh self-talk, berating yourself for every perceived shortcoming, or recalling past mistakes with bitterness. Every instance of negative self-talk cements the story that you are unworthy or incapable. To dismantle this, you can begin by replacing destructive thoughts with kinder, more supportive ones. This doesn't mean ignoring your faults, but acknowledging them without the additional weight of shame. For example, instead of, "I'm hopeless at relationships," you could say, "I've made mistakes, but I'm learning what healthy relationships require." This subtle rephrasing fosters a growth-minded perspective. You become more willing to practice better communication, setting healthy boundaries, or seeking professional guidance if needed. Again, you see how deciding your reality in small increments can yield major shifts in self-esteem and relational dynamics over time. This cumulative effect also applies to your emotional landscape. Emotions can be like clouds passing across the sky, some days bright and clear, others dark and foreboding. When a difficult emotion arises, deciding your reality means acknowledging the emotion without letting it define you indefinitely. You can feel anger, sadness, or jealousy without labeling yourself as an angry or jealous person. This separation allows you to handle emotions more calmly, choosing how to act upon them. For example, you might feel angry at a co-worker's remark, but you decide to take a moment to breathe before responding. You remind yourself that you want to cultivate a positive environment, so you respond with measured clarity instead of an outburst. That moment of decision transforms what could have been a toxic confrontation into a constructive exchange. You're still you. Anger might still be there, but you've decided it doesn't get to steer the ship. Nor does deciding your reality mean you can't ask for help. In fact, recognizing when you need help is a crucial part of shaping a healthier experience. If you have a persistent feeling of gloom or are dealing with heavy trauma, reaching out to a mental health professional or a support group can be a powerful demonstration of self-agency. You're not passively waiting for your emotions to crush you. You're actively seeking support to navigate them. This is a clear statement to yourself. I am someone who values my well-being enough to enlist help when necessary. Such a step can dramatically shift your sense of hope and direction, reinforcing that you have influence over your healing process. Remember, the Stoics did not deny pain or advocate for blind optimism. They advocated for finding virtue and resilience in each scenario life presents. In your own life, this might mean that while you acknowledge sorrow or frustration, you also see them as catalysts for deeper understanding or purposeful action. Perhaps you volunteer or channel your energy into creating something that helps others. You transform your grief or disappointment into compassion and effort. By deciding to engage the world constructively, you elevate your experiences beyond mere suffering. You can look back and say, yes, this was hard, but it became a turning point for me to do something meaningful. That is